Can I laugh at that?
All right. Yes. And we are back. We're back. Oh, hey, there we go. With the focus.
A slightly different white man is occupying this end of the screen.
Oh, shit.
We are back. We're back with the PVC Pod episode 24 with your boys, Sam, Mike, and God damn it, and Adam right there. Adam, it's that Nova. The homie here to join us for episode 24. You know what's crazy? Adam and I have known each other for 5 years at this point.
More than like that. COVID hit your calendar different because we are I think this is like
true.
7 years now. I think at this point.
I made a tweet the other day that 2019 was 5 years ago and 2022 isn't for another 3. So I don't know what's going on.
That's accurate.
Adam and I have known each other for a while. We've never actually done any work together, so this is exciting.
My body is ready and has been for some time. At least for this. My body's not ready for almost any other physical task, but for this,
Same.
I'm here.
So we got Adam here. Nova War. It's that Nova. I gotta remember.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's just the handle at this point. It's all good. On Twitch, it's still Nova War because I can't. I tried messaging the guy that has the name. I can't get it.
But yeah, we're here, episode 24. Excited to have Adam here with us. And how are y'all doing today? How are y'all feeling today on, what is this, September 25th? But you'll probably be seeing this on the 26th. How are y'all feeling today? How you doing, Mike?
I am good. I'm just bored. Yeah.
The perfect time for a podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't think of a game to play. I play Rise. I want to turn it off. I play World. I'm bored. I play Genshin. I get depressed. It's like, what the fuck do I play? I don't know.
Fair. And how are you doing, Adam?
I'm good. I'm aging faster than I want to, but otherwise I'm fantastic. I do know what to play, but I also get depressed every time I open up Genshin. So that's why I stopped opening Genshin at this point.
Same. Yeah. Genshin depression. Depression impact.
I'm gonna be the next one to not open.
Yeah. Depression impact is coming.
It's coming. Well, it's already here for me.
Yeah, same. And I'm doing all right. I'm excited to be back again for another week of the pod. I hit my basic bitch today. I woke up, brushed my teeth, flossed, went pee, and then got a pumpkin spice latte, and it was delicious from Wawa, and I love it. I'm feeling the espresso. That's the order of operations.
That's a lot of two things. The order of operations seems backwards in that order, but also that was a lot of pregame preparation just to hit up a latte.
So I don't drink coffee often. So when I do, it's like it's an event. So this is like you've been dating for like 3 years and you only go out once every 6 months now. And so when you do, you pull the clothes into the closet you no longer wear and you get ready. Okay, I got you. I get the khakis that I haven't worn since high school. I press them.
You put a belt on?
Yes, that was my next thing. I get the belt with the single holes, not the double holes. Yeah.
Looking classic.
That's what this latte was. And it was delicious. And I'm feeling energized. I probably got to pee in about another 10 minutes, but I'm feeling it's espressoed up. I'm espressoed, ready to express.
Well, what are we espressing? What do we got?
So, I had a few things here on the list, but I mean, we can get right to the stuff. Nintendo Direct happened yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Was that yesterday? Time is weird, man. I still don't know how it works.
Wait,
2020
it wasn't yesterday. It was Thursday.
No, wait,
2
it
days
was
ago.
actually the day.
See what I'm saying?
I thought it was yesterday.
See? Time has been fucked since 2020.
Time doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's been on the fritz. It's not real anymore. See, you thought it was yesterday. I thought it was yesterday. You could have told me it was 3 days ago, and I would have been like, sure.
Oh, shit. What the?
It was Thursday. Like, I recorded my podcast, and then I took my better half to work, came home, and caught the back half of it. Yeah, so that was Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah. And this week, for me, has been a blur, because I was... Well, yeah, I'll start with that. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Mama Sliz would have been angry. What did y'all eat today?
Oh, not much. I had 2 eggs fried over easy, 2 pieces of toast, strawberry jam, and an apple. And that was about all I'm rocking, because I had to get to the dealership, like we were talking pre-pod, and I woke up like 30 minutes before that appointment, so there was no time to eat before. So I just waited and got back, and now I'm running on that for now.
All right, sounds good. As per all appointments on the weekends for me.
Yes.
30 minutes is the most
second.
you get.
Yeah.
What'd you have, Mike?
What you laughing for, man? I had
What?
Literally a leftover Philly cheesesteak, bro.
All right. I thought it was gonna be pizza, cause
No. Valley's eating pizza now. She asked me if I wanted something. I said no. No
he said no to pizza. All right, that's a milestone.
No to pizza. I'm no longer
Say no to
Ninja Turtle.
pizza. All right. It's like the dare. Like, you remember what was it, the dog? Like the say no to drugs. Like he was like,
my God. Oh, dare. Do they still do that program? Is that like still a thing?
I don't know.
I mean,
probably not.
Like you're talking about like the one that like was like D period A period
like the
dare program.
Yeah.
They brought that in. Like I think Sammy, you and I are relatively close in age, right?
Yeah, I'm 31. 32
okay, yeah, so I'm
next month.
I'm 30, yeah, and I'm 33 next month. So, like, at least here in Canuckville, when I was in school, that was the first year they introduced DARE. And it was the most painful,
same time. Yeah.
Painful thing I ever experienced. And like, to put that in perspective, like I come from like the churchy white home. My mom's a minister, so like I was already like cringing at home, and then I went to school and that was worse.
And you got more.
So yeah, they got bored. I bet you I still have a T-shirt somewhere though. You know, everyone walking around with those DARE T-shirts.
I know if I go to my mom's, because it's kind of the same thing. My mom, we used to work at the Boys and Girls Club. So same kind of like, you know, teaching that kind of stuff. So I had it at school, and then after school I'd be there and I'd have it there. And my mom, she worked there, so she always had extra stuff. I'm sure I have crates of DARE shirts at my mom's. I'm sure there's just crates of them just sitting there.
God bless them.
And it was like the handwriting. The handwriting,
yes,
like,
it was like the red, the like blood red for some reason.
For some, you know, like the most
funny?
violent color.
You know what's funny? I was that kid who was like, I was that kid who was like, I will not curse, I will never do drugs, and I will never do alcohol. So, you know, I do none of those things. Now look at me. I won't stop fucking cursing. I like to drink every now and then. And I got so high that I thought I was a raindrop. So you could see the change, bro. Like,
the evolution. Yeah, that's what happened.
That's the don't press the big red button for like 10 years of your life, and then you move out and you go, you know what? I'm a fucking slam that red button.
Yeah. All of them. Any red button I see,
just
they're all getting
hitting
pressed.
Every button, getting hit all at the same time. Yeah.
I remember I was in a schoolyard one time, and a friend of mine was like, "Say fuck," and I was like, "No." I was like, "No, I don't curse, bro. That's not me."
You were
like,
my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was raised by Jehovah's Witnesses, bro. Like,
Oh, okay.
Fair ball. I had a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
friends that were Jehovah's Witnesses, and that was very similar. Was my God, you couldn't get them to crack. It was impressive. Really, they were like Buddhist. They were like Buddhist monks. It was like almost or like the Queen's Guard. Like you see the people.
Yeah.
They like go to
They're,
the and they try to like
you can't do
and
anything.
and
You
people
can't
try
do
to
all
fuck
this, and
with
they
them.
just don't move.
And they don't move. It was like that. It's like,
Yeah.
say fuck. You're like, no, I'm not. No.
no, I don't fucking say
No.
words like that.
And
Oh, I
it's
said
so
fuck.
funny because I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 12th grade. Complete opposite. It's fucking wild. Because it was it was the same thing of like, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the kids were just like, fuck it, dude. Why am I'm going crazy. Like,
Bro, I
everything.
straight up became a social chameleon because of that. So like at home, obviously, I was never able to like say
Yeah.
anything
Yeah,
remotely
exactly.
like that.
Same thing.
And then so you go out with friends and you've got like a totally different vernacular with your friends, and then you go home and all of a sudden you're like you have to change
like a
gears
light switch.
entirely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you're just like this like perfect little fucking angel type shit, and then you go over to your
Yeah.
friends, you're like fuck yeah,
and
then
that's
you're feeling
exactly how it
real
was
good.
for me, because I have an older brother he's like 10 years older, and he was the first, so he did like all this wild shit, as most firstborns do. And then I was like 10 years later, and so all the people who like know my mom and know our kids are like, oh, Sam is so nice and whatever. And my mom's like, yeah, you don't like know him. So it's like when I'm like out, like like I've had my fair share of like stupid shit that I've done, but it's like I've learned. I like when I was younger, I learned like, well, just don't do that much. Just keep it under what happened
life
before.
At 80%.
Yeah.
In
yeah,
everything.
Exactly.
And you'll get through okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like the complete opposite. Like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people in Catholic school are like, dude, fuck God, fuck all this bullshit, fuck going to church. This shit sucks, because they're making me do it.
I had a couple of friends that were in
I want to do it.
similar situations. One was in an all-girl prep school.
Oh, boy.
until just after high school or whatever. And not to get too graphic, but she got wild after she got out of that. Like there was several buttons pushed after she got out of that. And that was because it was like you weren't allowed to see the opposite sex for the first
So
18 years of your
just
life.
Go wild.
And then as your hormones are still at their peak, it's like, hey, get introduced to men. And it was just like a terrible, terrible, terrible backfire. But that was wild times. Dare.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dare.
Dare.
Oh, so what did I had? I had my pumpkin latte, and I had couple mozzarella sticks and some buffalo chicken bites, because that's what they had at Wawa. I wanted to have what you had for breakfast, lunch, whatever you want to call it, Adam. I was like, I got home and I ate this, and I was like, I should have just made some eggs, but it's too late.
Bro, when I was driving home, I was that close to just pulling into a Timmy's drive-thru and just spending $20 on dog shit, and just like coming home and eating that while I was doing other work. But then again, it's a good thing. It's the reason I call her my better half. If I got home and I had that, I could thought in my back of the head, she's gonna kill me. So just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just
See, I'm
save
going
the trouble.
crazy. Heather's at work right now, so I'm going nuts.
Oh, you're
right
a
now.
free man. You get no remorse, zero
Yeah.
remorse.
So fuck it.
The dream.
But yeah, so we can get right into it. Nintendo Direct was 2 days ago, and there was a lot of new stuff. They started off crazy for
real crazy.
Yeah, I booted. We were watching it. I was working on some controller stuff, and I was like, "Oh, whatever. I finished this. I'm home early from work. Let's watch the Direct." Sure, it starts. I'm like not even completely in the room. I'm like walking back in, getting water, and I see fucking Rathalos flying. I'm like, "Wait, hold on. What? It just started. They didn't even show any. Like, there's not even words on the screen. It already shown. Like, what's going on here?" And then they show this fucking Dracula-looking dragon eating Rathalos. For Rathalos to be the Pikachu of Monster Hunter, he is always getting fucked up,
bro.
Imagine if they did that in Pokemon. Like whenever they showed a new game and Pikachu was just getting fucked up.
Fuck you, Pikachu.
Just every time they show a new like legendary, Pikachu's getting fucking smashed.
Oh, dude, actually, in the anime, it kind of is like that. Like Ash will like
in the
fight some
anime.
new like trainer, or
But
new
it's more
Pokemon.
so because Ash is always getting fucked up and Pikachu's just a
Well-
byproduct of that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
like that always was kind of friggin' weird too, though, because like the whole concept of Pikachu being able to take on literally anything
Makes
It
was
just
no
doesn't make any
hysterical to me.
sense.
Yeah.
It's like
Dude,
we're-
I remember I
like
played the game and I was like, oh man, I got Pikachu. He couldn't do
sucks.
shit.
Like you can pop off Pikachu in the first patch of grass you walk into in the first games, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm done. This is the greatest Pokemon ever. And then you get your shit handed to you by like a Rattata. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then the first gym you go to is like Brock, and you can't do shit to him. It's like, I can't
Wrecked.
even use him. This
Yeah,
just sucks.
I remember when I was a kid and the movie came out or whatever, and it just seems so ridiculous even as a kid to me. Like you're watching, like here's God basically in the Pokemon
basically
universe.
God
Shows up
and then human manufactured God. And
And then,
Pikachu's like, I got
Pikachu's
this.
like, you know what, bro? Don't worry about it. I got this shit. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like, oh, okay, sure. That's not how it works in the game, but sure, whatever.
No. No.
Dude.
So yeah, they show that trailer of Rathalos getting fucked up by this Dracula thing, and then boom, Monster Hunter Rise expansion. Mix of emotions.
Wait, really?
I'll be
Why?
honest.
Why?
Super well, at the very moment, excited, awesome, cool. More Monster Hunter. I don't want to turn my Switch on. I really don't.
Well, the good
But
news.
that's why mix of emotions. Because I didn't know. I was like, all right, it's gonna be like fucking Iceborne again. They're gonna make me have to go back on this shitty thing, and I can't use my $2,000 machine that's sitting right here next to me. I gotta use this couple $100 piece of shit that runs 30 frames and takes 40 minutes to load. Cool, Monster Hunter, but fuck. But they redeemed themselves a bit after the Direct. It's coming simultaneous to PC and Switch, so I don't have to ever turn my Switch on for Monster Hunter.
Just
again.
break it right now. Wait, you want Breath of the Wild too?
What?
Like-
For Monster Hunter. I said for Monster
Okay,
Hunter. I don't have
but-
to turn
but-
it on again.
Okay, but you know, because I was gonna break my Switch, but I do want Breath of the Wild too. So
Yeah. Oh, holy, wait. All right. You know, they didn't say a
What?
goddamn thing about that game. This Direct
Oh.
was so fire. We forgot that they didn't even talk about Breath of the Wild 2.
I mean,
That's
they don't
true.
need to though.
Didn't they just show stuff off
Yeah,
like
they
not
just
that
showed it.
long ago?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Yo, Nintendo.
I mean,
look at this.
all
look
the
at
same
the
is like
passes
a-
Nintendo gets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nintendo has been free passes for a very long time.
Yes.
For everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, I don't think, yeah, they didn't need to show it off. One, because like you said, the show was already like jam-packed,
Yeah.
full of as much as you could possibly get. And then secondary to that is, yeah, they just talked about it recently, and I guess they probably are trying not to show too much of it off, because every time they put like 3 frames of video out, the world is dissecting every pixel to try and like figure out what is going on in this game. So they're
Yeah,
probably just playing it like
everybody-
close to the chest.
Everybody becomes Vadi Vidya for 3 frames of Zelda content.
You know, there's actually there are Vada Video channels for Zelda. There's a lot of them.
I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of obscure shit. Honestly, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Zelda's the Dark Souls of Nintendo. How triggering is that
Oh,
sentence?
come on, man.
Man, look, I'm just gonna be glad the day that we finally get another game that all other games can get compared to, because right now
Yes.
games can't come out like short of being a friggin' isometric pixelated like brawler getting
Yeah.
compared to Breath of the Wild. And, like everything is Breath of the Wild. It's like every Nintendo fan of Breath of the Wild feels like every mechanic in that game started with Breath of the Wild and had never
What
existed
the-
previously.
Grass,
Yeah.
Yeah, the grass, mountains,
Breath of the
You
Goblins.
cel-shaded graphics,
What? You can float? No way.
an endurance bar for climbing hills.
Paraglider. This
Never
is a
been done
rip
before.
off, bro.
Rip off.
Never been
They've
done
been
before.
stealing. No games would exist without Nintendo.
Main
That's what,
character's
that's
blonde.
what it feels like. That's what it feels like when the fans get going. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like, have you
it's
ever
wild.
played Shadow of the Colossus before? Because it did most of these things
Yes.
a very long time ago.
What was that? PS2, right?
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
PS2 game, which is
Yeah.
a great
Yep.
game. I actually didn't play it for the first time until like 4 years ago.
It's in my top 10
it's-
at like minimum top 10.
It's good, and like
Yeah.
I played it dated, and it was still good.
Yeah. And like they had the updated version and stuff, like where they did the graphics update, the HD version of it and stuff. But even then, like if you were to play, like it came out pretty late, I think, in the life cycle of the console. But it was one of the few games that output like a slightly better resolution than some of the other titles. And if you just played it, even on the original, it looked absolutely amazing. So the HD remake was even better, and that was great to see. But yeah, definitely an awesome game for sure. And did most of Breath of the Wild stuff long before Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, a lot of it.
But not a lot of 13-year-olds were out there playing
Yeah, no, they weren't born.
Shadow of the Colossus. No, they weren't alive yet.
They weren't. Yeah, they weren't here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they announced Rise expansion. Looks cool.
What do
They
you
got
think
the
of the name?
castle theme. It's weird. I don't know. It feels. I keep wanting to call it Spring Break. Monster Hunter Rise Spring Break.
It's like Rathalos winning wet T-shirt contests or something.
Dude, if there's not a bikini layered in this game, I don't care that we're in a gothic castle. Did Sunbreak? Come on. I know it's gonna probably be about like, oh, the sun breaks and it goes away and vampires, the Dracula blood. What? I don't care. Sunbreak, Spring Break. I
What
need
the
I need a
fuck?
bikini
It
layer.
might as well just be fucking Castlevania at this point. Just fucking put in a ball and chain. Like,
Yeah, just call it Monster Hunter Rise of the
Symphony
Night,
of the Night.
basically. Yeah, Rise of the Night. Give me that. But
What
it looks
what
cool.
a terrible night for a curse kind of deal.
Yes, exactly. But have at you.
Oh, your hunter turned into a werewolf, bro. And with
Oh,
with
don't
the
give me
full
that.
moon?
No. All right, look. I'm gonna say this here. Vampires are cool. Werewolves aren't. I don't know, man. I like dogs, but werewolves just aren't fucking cool.
I mean, yeah.
They're just not.
Look, vampires have gotten it dirty for like ever since Twilight's shit came out. Even werewolves got done dirty in Twilight, but unfortunately that set the image of vampires and werewolves in pop culture for ever since. And now we're stuck with these like fruity, like sparkly, whatever the hell vampires and like weak sauce werewolves. And if you go and look at like old images and depictions of vampires and shit, they're badass. They're
Yes.
amazing. And then, but now we've got, would-be Batman running around at 14 pounds trying to avoid the sun.
Batman.
Yes,
Yeah.
will be, yeah.
Well, yeah, will be Batman.
Yeah. And in fairness to him, he's actually a really good actor. He just, he got the bag, and he never wanted to do those movies again, but he got the bag.
Yeah. Oh, big bag.
Big.
Big bag.
Such a big bag that he could do something like The Lighthouse and not care about how much money it made.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it looks cool. What did you think of it, Mike?
You know me. More Monster Hunter. I'm gonna scream my head off. That's it.
All right.
Like
fair
literally, when it came on, I wasn't expecting anything. So I was over here like messing up. Like I was fixing my wires, and then I hear something, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" So I see Capcom Presents, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck?" And then I was just like yelling and shit, and I was like, "I fucking called it! I called it!" Like, dude, literally. There was a comment in one of my videos. This guy was like, Rise is not getting an expansion. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I was like, what? And then like 5 hours later, it gets announced. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would think that anyway. They made so much fucking money from World. So much. that there's no reason for them to not ever do an expansion for every Monster Hunter game they make from here on out. Like World was, I mean, that game, didn't it pass Street Fighter 2?
Yeah, it's the best-selling Capcom game ever.
That's
It
absolutely,
makes
that's
Capcom
truly
and
wild.
Mega Man look like shit, honestly.
It's truly wild.
I mean, it was definitely the Monster Hunter that attracted not Monster Hunter fans.
Exactly.
Right?
Which caused a big problem.
Which is why, which did two things. It made Capcom a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it also gave them a lot of problems because now you've got this incredibly hardcore dedicated fan base. I mean, there aren't very many fan bases that are more wrapped up in their game than the Monster Hunter fan base, like you guys, and they're even more hardcore folks than you, honestly. There's some people out there that are like live and die, like they're fucking Crips and Bloods and shit out there, like looking to go to war. And you know that, and when you mix that with newcomers to a franchise that's traditionally very mechanically heavy and dense. And
like
hard to
oil.
break that first wall. They want to turn that dial down further, and the fans are going, hold up.
Yeah.
I just put 16,000 hours into this game and I can play this shit blindfolded. I don't want it to be easier. I want it to be harder.
Yeah.
Give me more difficulty, right? So
Yep.
lots of money, lots more exposure, but I think that's also why they're running with stories now as that's like their gateway drug. If Dare was a thing in gaming,
This is the
they'd be saying, instead of weed as the gateway drug to heroin, it'd be, Monster Hunter Stories is the gateway drug to every other mainline game, and it makes them more money and gets them more fandom, and but I'm sure there will be even more problems. Like, I don't know about you guys, but did you like the direction that the modern Monster Hunter games have been trending in, because they are making, I guess if you wanted to call them concessions, for newer players? Because as somebody that went into at Worlds, like that was my entry point. I barely dabbled in like 3 or something like a million years ago, but Worlds was really the one I played first. Only 40 hours, which is like I haven't even broken the car in at 40 hours yet. But for me, it was like there's still, as a player that plays. Oh, that's a sentence. Lots of games within like a similar genre, right? It still felt crazy dense in a way that was like still too much for me, and I play games for a living, so like when I was thinking about it, I was like, my god, like imagine people that are just playing games recreationally and they're not looking to like read a flight manual for how to play a game, right? So but what did you guys think as hardcore players? How have you felt about the direction that it's been trending and seems to be continuing to go in?
So I think like especially when you look at like Twitter, there's always like outrage and stuff. But I think
that's just Twitter.
People who are like, who actually love Monster Hunter, and if you get triggered by this, I don't fucking care. People who actually love Monster Hunter and have been playing it for 8 million years, like every Monster Hunter fan likes to say, and they got to World. And if you like a game that's actually progressing and getting better, World did all of that. Like, I think it's hands down the best Monster Hunter game. It's not my first. And for nostalgia reasons, it might not be my favorite. But again, that's nostalgia. Like, I'm able to see that that's nostalgia talking. I think World is the best Monster Hunter game. Like, it's the perfect medium that you can get to still have all the complexity of Monster Hunter, but not have the obscurity so new people can't get into it. Like, in the first Monster Hunter, you couldn't, in order to gather something, you just had to look like something you wanted to gather. There was no prompt. It didn't tell you what button to press. You didn't know when you could stop gathering. You just had to, is that a plant I can gather that looks like a normal environment object? Maybe. Let me just press the button.
Which breaks all the rules of game development since like 2001, which is like crazy.
Yeah. So like World just did so much quality of life that the series needed, and I loved it. I mean, it's still the Monster Hunter game I've put 5,000 hours in at this point between PlayStation and PC. There's no other Monster Hunter game I put in that close. Even my favorite ones that I've replayed multiple times, not even close. So I think World is, the best Monster Hunter. and is great for like I said, new players and old players. I've never been one of those players in any game that's like, nah, I don't want more people to fucking play this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
That's dumb though. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty stupid. Because it's like, don't you want the franchise to like get bigger and succeed? Like,
yeah, dude, seeing World on an E3 stage blew my fucking mind. Like, that's like it's Capcom. Monster Hunter's Capcom, but it's always just felt like an indie game. It's huge, but like as far as its budget, which is a lot, but compared to shit like Street Fighter or fucking I don't know, like Devil May Cry even, or even like other games, you know, God of War, shit like that. Like Monster Hunter's always felt like an indie game. So when I saw something of Monster Hunter on like an E3 stage for when they announced World, I was just like, this is crazy. I was moving into this apartment when they showed that 2017. All I had on was my fucking boxers, and I had a box in my hand, and I was just getting tweets like, Sammy, are you looking at this? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I pulled it up, and I saw a Greatsword, and then they showed Rathalos, and I was like, this is E3? And I was like sweating. I was sweating in my underwear, running around in my apartment, because I was like, this is insane. So yeah, I think it's awesome as a hardcore player. I think it's good. A good thing.
I mean, I'm kind of weird because it's like the combat is still deep, so that's really the
what
only
matters.
thing that's what matters to me. So it's like, as long as that's not dumbed down, and I mean like truly dumbed down, not like made to be accessible and like, you know, simplistic. Like it's good. It's actually what I wanted, because 3U, I can't go back to that shit now.
No.
Like,
yeah,
no.
as much as I've played Monster Hunter, I can't go back to, like, I played 4U the other day, like emulated it.
I don't even want to do that, bro.
I was like, oh, let me see how it feels. You know, it's been a while. I failed the quest like 3 times, and I was like, I'm cool.
No. Yeah.
I just fucking turned it off.
My attention span for older Monster Hunter games is like,
yeah, it's like I can't do it anymore. I'm cool. But yeah, there was a tweet I saw. It was like, Monster Hunter fans are the only fans who will get 300 hours out of a game and be angry about it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sunbreak looks cool. I'm excited for it. I don't have any crazy expectations. I just want Lagiacrus back. That's really it.
I don't know.
And my weapon to be fixed.
I don't know if you're getting that, bro.
I don't think it's happening, but that's like it. I'm just excited that it's coming to PC. Are you? I know you enjoyed Stories 2 a lot, Adam. Are you cool on main series? Are you thinking about Rise on PC?
Yeah. So World, I enjoyed World, and but there was, like I was just saying, there was still, and it wasn't the combat. The combat was fine for me.
This is like everything else.
Everything else was like, and it wasn't necessarily, I don't even know if I want to say it was necessarily complicated. Some of it was, so much as it was like obtuse. Like it didn't make, like, the reasoning behind like everything you did, it felt like busy work that didn't need to be there, and every menu was like 78 layers. Like they're like, whoever does their UX UI should probably like find a different line of work. For example, like that was like everything, and what, for something that was supposed to still be pretty much an introduction for people like myself, that was what I felt needed more work was just tutorial stuff. Because again, it wasn't a matter of it being necessarily complicated. There are far more complicated, technically, games than Monster Hunter World, but the way in which everything is delivered to you in Monster Hunter is obtuse. It's not like any other game. Like it's like they make it a point to make it so your transferable skills, like the stuff that you can take from one game to another, doesn't exist with Monster Hunter. The only transfer, and likewise, if you go from Monster Hunter to something else, you're not bringing a hell of a lot with you. Like, if anything, it hurts you because it's so different that when you go to play something else, it's a challenge. So for me, I do like the main line a lot. I've always wanted to get into it. That's why I gave World like 3 or 4 solid attempts to try and hook me to to play it for longer than the 40 hours I eventually did, or probably more than that. That was just my longest session. But I'm waiting for another opportunity. This could be it. It's coming to PC. I will absolutely give it a shot. I'll see what it provides, for me. Stories I thought was amazing, not just from the aspect that it was a good gateway into the franchise, but that I hope that that if there's a lesson to be learned about stories, it's that stories had almost everything that makes Monster Hunter. Combat excluded, right? Yeah. All of the peripheral stuff that makes up Monster Hunter, but in a digestible, less convoluted, less making me feel like I'm wasting my time kind of way, and getting that out of the way so I can play the game. Because I don't think when people play Monster Hunter, they think, oh, I can't wait to run around the hub for 30 minutes, organizing my menus, crafting shit, and sitting at a table and eating and doing all this other stuff. When they sit down, they go, I want to hunt some monsters. I want to do that as soon as humanly possible. And stories allowed you to get most of the core components of Monster Hunter and then get out of the way and let you just fight monsters and collect them, which was the core component of that game. So that's where I, as a more casual, would want it to go, is get out of my way and let me fight these monsters. And yes, I like the armor building aspect and everything, but I don't need it to be so damn convoluted. It's like busy work.
You know what's funny? It was a lot worse before World.
Yes, which is why I checked the fuck out. Before, like when I was playing 3 and 4, I played 3 and 4U. Was it Ultimate or they called it or whatever it was?
4U.
So I tried that too, and I just checked out. I was like, I can't. Which shocked me because I like almost anything. Like I'll play almost anything. And I want to play Monster Hunter. I tried, and I just like I can't do this shit.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things I can't ever, especially like older Monster Hunter. I could never blame somebody for being like, nah, I can't do this, because it was like, there's just so much to get, and it's like I get it, and
it's not presented to you in a digestible. Yeah, you have to go do the work to learn. Like the game doesn't even give you
just teach you,
which is like I'm not looking to go to school. I'm looking to hunt. I'm looking to hunt monsters, and I want to do that now, not later. So
I think part of that comes from Monster Hunter's roots as being kind of like a simulation, where it took what Phantasy Star did, and kind of it wanted to make you feel like a hunter. So the preparation for hunts was a big thing. Now they're kind of dumbing it down. Maybe not dumbing it down,
just making it more accessible.
More accessible now. So, you don't even have to drink a hot drink in a cold area anymore.
Yeah. So I think Rise is, I think it's the most accessible Monster Hunter. So I think from that aspect, I think you'll enjoy Rise, because it does. It puts you right in the forefront of, hey, just fucking go out and hunt. Just go hunt shit.
Rise is actually more streamlined than World is.
Yeah,
and some people actually don't like that, because
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
you don't even have to look for a monster on the map anymore. You don't have to work to find the monster. You go on the map and a little owl finds it for you, and they're already on the map. You just go.
Well, that might, even for me, that might be like, I'm not looking for that. Yeah. Like I'm not looking for the game to drag me by my heels. Through the whole process. But like the pre-game preparation was like where it lost me a bit, and then the inventory management and all that stuff later on was like that needed to be sorted. But I liked going out and tracking and running down. Sometimes I wasn't a fan of how often a monster was leaving an area, and I was like, oh, I gotta like wait for it. It's like it felt like when you're on like a mission in a game with an NPC and they're talking to you and they're walking from point A to point B, and you have to begrudgingly just walk with them. Like that's what it felt like every time I was hunting a monster, and they were like, peace, bro, I'm getting the fuck out of here, and they'll hobble, and you're just like, all right, fine. You just kind of like walk behind them and shit, and like occasionally you can still interact with them, but it's still kind of like a wait until they're at a place kind of thing.
When you can actually do it, yeah.
Yeah, so that might be too streamlined, but I'd still probably enjoy it if it does get out of your way and allow you to enjoy the combat aspect of it. Because that really is, for me, what's always, other than like building armor and customizing characters and stuff, it was the combat and was foremost. So if that does that, then great, and I'll be in. But I can say that whenever another Stories comes out, I'll probably also hop in that because it's good fun. It's a game that you don't have to like turn on full sweat mode to enjoy.
You really don't.
Which is
good.
Great.
You don't have to do none of that sweaty shit in that game.
Yeah, but still enjoy
awesome.
Monster Hunter for like most of what Monster Hunter is, right? You still get a lot of those trappings, but you don't have to like put your gamer headset on and sit up straight in your gamer chair and do all your gamery shit to really enjoy it and do well.
To enjoy Stories too.
What's really weird though is I think it might be a bit of a cultural difference too, because in Japan, like so many people who are casual gamers will just play Monster Hunter with each other. And a lot of them kind of don't know what they're doing. They're just having fun with their friends. But I feel like a lot of us in the West, like we want to like, with a game like Monster Hunter, we feel like we have to commit to it.
I think there's this like cultural thing because video games kind of started in Japan, that people in the West, when they see a game that's very Japanese, we're like, we got to tap in like them. We got to play the game like them. Even though everybody plays fucking Monster Hunter in Japan, whether they're hardcore gamers or not. It's like fucking Tetris or something. Like everybody knows that game over there and they play it at all levels. But I think from the West, we look at it in a way where it's like, well, it's Japanese and we're in the West. We got to make sure we play it the way they want us to play it. So we go like super hyper focused in and like have to be like hardcore on it. And it's like, you can just play it. However, like I love playing Monster Hunter with Heather because she is like the exact opposite of me. Like she enjoys the game, but she is like, what set should I build? Just tell me what set to build. All right. Do I need these skills or those skills? What weapon should I make? Like, I just tell her all that stuff, and then we just go in and hunt. Basically, I cut out all the part that you don't like in the game, Adam, for her, and then she just gets to hunting and seeing cool monsters and seeing cool armor and stuff. And that's a great way to play. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing the game like that. And it's awesome. And I feel like a lot of people in Japan who've known Monster Hunter play it like that, I'm sure. Who just like, I like this armor set. It looks good. I'm just going to put it on.
Here's a question. What if they treated Monster Hunter, because of its, like, and I think that's a relatively accurate description, where they were trying to root the game in some form of simulation when they first created it. I like that. So like, what if they treated it like racing simulators, where you can, or like Forza, which is like an arcade sim, right? Where you can choose to put tire wear on, or damage actually fucks your car up, and you can't, you're limited to gears and things like that, or weather affects you, or the things of that nature. You get to tune the amount of simulation. So if they brought that idea to Monster Hunter, where they said, all right, you want to just go and fight some monsters and do the core stuff and maybe not require the crazy in-depth thing, we can let you turn that back. Or if you want to treat this like traditional Monster Hunter, where you've got to literally cosplay before you leave the house to go play your Monster Hunter, we can accommodate that too. Because as far as like the internals of the game would be concerned, not a lot would be changing, because the end product is the same. It's just how much work do you want to do to feel accomplished in achieving that goal. And for some people who either don't have the time or don't have the want of doing a lot of the preparatory stuff and a lot of the more simulator type aspects to Monster Hunter, might just want to skip all that and enjoy the same game that somebody like you guys might be like, where they're like, you guys want to just turn all the knobs to like fucking max and want everything to be traditional Monster Hunter. Like, what do you think about something like that to try and help bridge the gap? Because it might help, persuade hardcore fans to stop whining every time something in Monster Hunter is less in depth.
Yeah,
That's
so I
annoying,
think
bro.
I think that brings up a greater conversation about just accessibility. And I'm like torn on it from one aspect, like from the developer side. I don't think the developer should have to worry about accessibility it's like an art thing, right? It's like an art versus like
well, they had this discussion around Dark Souls like 15 times in the last calendar year.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same kind of thing, right? If it's in their artistic vision to put those sliders in the game, then I'm all for it. I think it's awesome. But if it's like they make it and they're like, this is how we want it. This is how we want it to be played. We want it to be played this way. And then they're like, all right, well, I guess we'll add this so more people can play it. Then I'm like, I don't, because then like you have 4 different ways to play the game, and the way the developer intended is only one of those ways. Yeah. So then it's like you're only kind of playing the game if you're not doing it that way. But if it was created with, all right, all 4 of these ways are all ways that we would want people to play the game, and it's not a compromise, I think it'd be awesome. Because New Genesis, Phantasy Star Online, New Genesis did kind of that. They added like it's because it's kind of basically like an arcadey Monster Hunter. Like it's way more button pressing and action kind of stuff. But they added an auto action button basically, and I love that. I don't use it, but again, for Heather, she tried to play the first one, and that game's from like 2012. And there's just like 50 different skills, and you're just like this, like you never fucking stop doing that, and it would literally hurt her hands. And now in NGS, she can just hold one button and it just picks the right skills. So again, you can just get out there and just start fighting stuff, and you still got to like dodge and block and stuff, but you don't have to hit 50 buttons to do 50 different skills. You can just do the right one at the right time. And some people are like, oh, well, that cuts out of the game. It's like, well, you don't have to do it then. You can just keep pressing your 50 buttons if you want. But if this person only wants to press one and take part in the game, they can. And like that kind of stuff, I think is awesome. So if it would be like tailored to that, it'd be cool. And I think NGS does that well, because even if you can just hold one button to do the right skill, you might not be doing the most damage at the most optimal time, but you're contributing to the fight, and you still have to pay attention to dodge and block shit too. So I think that would be awesome if they could do something like that in Monster Hunter, to like, if you want max simulation, your fucking weapon wears out, your all this and everything like that. Or if you just want to get right to the hunt, but skills are still kind of tailored and balanced around that kind of stuff, I'd be with that. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'd be going for, is something similar to that. It's not necessarily, to change the artistic vision, which is like in itself, like why the Dark Souls conversation happens so many times, is that it comes down to, what, from the art perspective, the really like pedantic conversation around it would be like what makes the art? Is it the artist, or is it how the art is interpreted by the person seeing it on the other side? What version of the art is the most appropriate? And some artists themselves will tell you, would say it's the person that's absorbing the art on the other side.
It, yeah.
And some artists would say, no,
what I mean.
My way or the highway, get out. And so it's so specific to the artist. But yeah, I would just in the sense that it is such a barrier to entry for a lot of people that might be really into the aesthetic and the idea of Monster Hunter, then maybe it's a way to go. I doubt they're ever going to do that, but that's just kind of
I don't think so. But hey, I mean, thought. Like I said, in PSO2, I would have never thought that they would have a button you could press to just do all your skills. So I don't know, maybe something like that could happen. And again, as long as it doesn't take away from the true way, like I'm all for accessibility as long as it's not forced. Like as long as the community is not forcing it to happen, as long as the developer's like, hey, we're gonna make this with different forms of accessibility in mind and balance it with these things, I'm always for it. And FromSoft doesn't do that shit. That's why, like, when people talk about that, it's like, dude, that's what FromSoft's thing is. They make it and they give it to you, and that's it. Like, that's how they make the game. If you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. Like, they're fine.
Some people, like, really hammer in, like, oh, all games need to have difficulty sliders. And I mean, I don't think you need to be a game designer to know that sometimes that kind of complicates things. Sometimes that kind of holds you back a bit because you have to tune everything like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and sometimes for some games that means you're making the same game 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Plus, Dark Souls isn't even like hard. It just
it's just stupid.
Gotta learn.
I'm gonna say it. I love Dark Souls, but a lot of it's fucking stupid, man.
Wait, what do you mean?
Maybe now that I'm older.
What do you mean?
Bro, it's not interesting when I walk into a room and there's 50 enemies behind me that just backstab me, and now I know. Oh, well, next time you go in there, don't get backstabbed by the enemy that you didn't know was there.
Yeah,
that's not fun. That's stupid. I played it. I loved it. It was cool, but that's not hard, and that's not fun. It's just like, oh, now I know that this thing's gonna fucking gank me when I walk in.
Dark Souls is an experience. Okay.
Okay.
It's an experience. So you're literally being transferred into wherever the fuck Dark Souls takes place, right?
I feel like I have to hold my pinky up during this segment right now.
Yes. Like, it's an experience, bro, because the first time is important. That's why they throw all this bullshit at you.
That's why I don't understand people running the game 8 million times. If it's an experience, why is the game designed around new game plus? You can't get to the rest of the lore until you beat the game 6 times. And now you know that Cinder was Lord Gwyn's cousin or some shit that's not written anywhere.
Here's the thing that you must understand. So, your first time going through Dark Souls is a fucking roller coaster, right? You're like, you don't know what the fuck is going on. It feels hard, confusing, and you want to give up. And then you beat it. And you're like, I fucking did it. Like, look at my EP, I beat Dark Souls.
That's an important point. So here's a question for you before you continue. Is how much of the experience that you're describing is attributed to your EP and the feeling that you can then go around and tell all your friends that, hey, guess what? My dick's around my ankles. I beat Dark Souls. like, how much of it is that? Because if you took, like, because there are games that you would classify as an experience for sure, right? But is Dark Souls an experience because it's an experience, or is it an experience because the culture that built up on the internet, primarily thanks to game streaming, honestly, and content creation, is it because of that where you just feel like you're part of this exclusive club that was able to, like, flog yourself with a pole for 45 hours until you beat the game, or is it truly an experience?
Actually,
that's why Dark Souls 2 sucks, because Dark Souls 1 was made just like, hey, here's a game. Demon Souls was only on PS3. We couldn't put this we couldn't do that everywhere. So here's Dark Souls 1. We could put this everywhere. Here it is. Enjoy it. Great. Awesome. And it was like, oh, people were like, oh shit, this game's hard. This was like kind of not really before, like Twitch wasn't huge, streaming, YouTube, all that stuff for gaming wasn't huge at the time of Dark Souls 1. Yeah. It was out there, but wasn't crazy. And I was like, all right, cool. This game's hard. It's difficult. You know, it's an experience. Awesome. And then Dark Souls 2 came out, and they were like, I see why you guys like this. You guys like the shit that's stupid and hard for no reason and getting killed by a pig that's the size of your ankle.
What you're doing right now,
because it has 8 million L.
What you're doing is insulting Miyazaki's intelligence by saying,
oh my God.
Because you think this man would stoop so low to design a game for streaming?
He didn't work on 2.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is, because that's obviously not what he intended. Okay. Right? Yeah. If there's anything we know about Japan, is that they actually hate anything that involves streaming any of their games ever. So we definitely know that it ain't that for sure. However, what I'm saying is that is it really from the game player's experience perspective, like the player themselves, not Miyazaki? Is it really an experience the way that we think that it is, or was that just mostly a byproduct? Because I'm not saying that it was a bad game, but when somebody says Dark Souls is an experience and this is why, one of the first things that they're going to say is what you just said, which is like it's so hard that when you beat it, you're EP-ing. Everyone mentions the clout that comes with I beat Dark Souls, right? So is that really it? Or is the game even all that hot? Or is it just a pretty good game that you can add to your resume of like I beat these games in life, and Dark Souls is one of them. Is that so? What? How much of the experience is that?
It's definitely a byproduct. It became a byproduct.
Yeah,
like, I don't think that was like intended at all, and it kind of just like
that's what I'm saying. I don't think in one. Yeah, it wasn't like that at all in one. Because people didn't know. I mean, like I said, Demon Souls exists, but that was only on one platform. Dark Souls, people didn't really know, and they're like, "Oh shit, this is hard. Oh shit, this is hard. I beat this. Did you beat this?"
You know what though? Now that I think about it, because Miyazaki didn't direct Dark Souls 2.
So they like leaned into that shit in 2. It's like they saw how much people were like, "Oh shit, this game's hard. Look, I beat this." And then the 2, they were like, "All right, look, we're gonna get them on this one."
You know what the real secret about 2 is? Is that if you beat it on the PC before they patched it, you beat the hardest Dark Souls, because it was hideously broken. Where like frame rate messed with how fast your armor and weapons would degrade.
You had like less iframes and shit.
It changed how many iframes you had, how much damage you took. So if you like, that's the one real pain is Dark Souls 2 on PC pre-patch. That's like, the
if
big
you had
swing.
the more frames you had, the harder the fucking game was.
Yeah, and the more you get hit harder, and your weapons like blew up in like 3 fucking seconds.
Because the game was just running faster, so everything happened faster. You had like less iframes, your shit broke down faster.
It
was ridiculous.
Like when they port a PS2 game over to something new at 60 frames, and it
breaks the physics.
Fucking breaks.
Like, do you remember? Like, did both of you beat 2 or play 2 at least?
No, I still have never.
But I
played it. I still have.
Okay,
I have not beaten it.
Did you get far enough in to remember I think it was called the Iron Keep, that zone?
Is that the smelter demon?
It's the one where at the other end you're in like a
bunch of fire,
like a circle room, and there was a glitch where he'd push you into a wall and you'd be stuck there and you just die.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that whole zone was like the peak meme, because there'd be like the samurai guys that would dash at you. Yeah. And on the PC pre-patch, it was like insta-death everywhere you went, and it was insane.
That's why I stopped.
Holy shit.
I'm a stubborn asshole, so I beat 2 a pre-patch on PC, but guy, like that boss that was in that zone, put me into a wall and killed me for like 7 or 8 hours, and it was just the most painful experience. And I did it because and this is what I was saying, it was the clout. I was a streamer at the time. Dark Souls was huge. And if you
I gotta do it. I gotta beat it.
You have to beat. If you don't, you're a bitch. You have to beat this game.
Yo, exactly. Dude, this is what I'm afraid of in streaming, is playing a game and realize that I don't want to beat it. Whether it's because
that's like 90% of the games I play on stream.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Dude, I think it's an age thing, because I was same thing as Adam. Like, I gotta do this. I have to do it. And then I don't know, maybe around like 28, 29, definitely by 30, I was like, bro, I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Dude, I beat 3, and then after 3, and I beat 1, 2, 3 in Bloodborne, and when people were like talking about expansions to 3 and shit, at that point I said, nah, bro, I'm
good.
Done. I'm out of here.
That's what happened with Bloodborne. I got through the whole game. I got to fucking Gasconcelli, whatever, wheelchair dude. And I was like, all right, I'm going to fight him. I didn't enjoy the game at all. I didn't have fun at all through Bloodborne. But I was like, everybody, Bloodborne,
dude, you
whatever.
Hate Bloodborne.
Dude, it wasn't fun to me. But I got to the end, and I was fighting wheelchair dude. I think this might have been the moment where I just finally said, fuck things I don't like anymore. It was like 2-3 hours. I was like, dude, I'm not beating this guy. Look, guys, the stream's over. I'm turning this game off. I'm done. That was it. Look, I never beat him.
Dark Souls and all of this, like the spin-offs and everything, they're all like relatively, I'm not gonna say they're well-made games, they're relatively well-made games. They're kind of jank. Like all of them are their special
That's like intentional
breed of jank. Some of it's intentional, some of it's just
some of it's
jank.
not. Yeah.
But yeah, like they're really good. They're in that regard. They're challenging, certainly in the way that like everything is process. It's almost like process of elimination, the video game, because the challenge in Dark Souls was often like you were describing it before, Sammy. Like your experience is like you go into an area, 50 guys come up from behind and beat you senseless, and then you would have no way of knowing until it happened. and then you're sent back and you're like, okay, well, I'll just put that in my mind for the next time I walk through. That's not difficulty. That's just you learning that when you walk through this maze, if you take the wrong turn, you're gonna get punched in the balls, and so you don't go down that route anymore. It's almost like training animals. It's like Pavlov's friggin' dogs or something. You ring a bell and you start salivating. Except in Dark Souls, it's like you get kicked in the balls and you don't go there anymore.
That's all Dark Souls is. Dark Souls is just putting a zap collar on you. And if you go in the wrong room, you just get zapped. Oh, let me not go there again. Let me not do that again. That's it.
And when you're playing like bosses and stuff, like ultimately, it was like when people said Dark Souls 3 was easier than 1.
You just have more experience.
You just have experience. You know that if you hug a boss's ass and you dodge roll at the right time, you get the patterns and you're good. Like that's Dark Souls.
It's the same
and that can be
thing.
fun when you get it. It is satisfying, to make it happen. I remember Dark Souls 1's expansions. Artorias. Do you know which boss that is? Artorias.
Artorias. It's like infamous.
That's my favorite boss in any of the games. And I beat him. My character, the way I beat him was with a spear, and I was naked, I had no armor. So like I hit once, I was dead. And so like I fought him like that because I knew I needed to dodge roll like I was like some sort of like coked out acrobatic. And it took me
Spartan.
hours. But it felt good at the other side. And so I agree that it is an experience. I could talk about Dark Souls a long time because I have very strong opinions about Dark Souls, but the key point for me, other than the when somebody says it's an experience, is no game, in my opinion, that requires you to pick up every single item and then read every item description, go to every room, and then play Mad Libs with those items try and like patchwork quilt some sort of bastardized version of a story.
No fucking way.
And then like read it like you're trying to translate the Greek Bible into like whatever you think Miyazaki was on that day.
You know what?
To like come up with it. Like that ain't it. That's garbage.
You know what this is? They're trying to make us Nicolas Cage, Da Vinci Code. That's all Dark Souls is.
Oh my God.
That's all it is. That's all it is. That's what they're trying to do.
It is kind of like that though. Like and it drove me nuts because like I'm looking at this world and thinking, man, Anne Orlando, all these are amazingly well designed, crafted areas with characters that I want to know more about, and all you're gonna give me is like 3.5 sentences on the back of a ring. And I have
to
try
Old English.
Because there is something to be said, in Old English. There is something to be said. There is something to be said about like leaving parts of a character out to like intrigue. And the most famous character I can think of for that is Yoda. We don't know his race. We don't know where he comes from. Really, like we don't know anything. But we know lots about Yoda as a person, if you want to call him that. As a character, but there are aspects about him.
We don't know his origins or anything.
That are like, the origins, and that adds mystique to the character that's nice. But in Dark Souls, it's like they took the Yoda thing and said, what if we just gave them absolutely nothing? And what we gave them, they had to find and work for.
Yeah.
And like, it was just like fucking weird. Like,
why is this dude covered in thorns? Why is he invading me? Why does he sound like he's known me for 50 years? And this is the first time I've seen him 40 hours into the game.
Yeah.
Read the ring that drops if you get to kill him.
It's a percent chance drop too. You don't get that ring every time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my major beef with it because I wanted to know more, but it gave me nothing. And our best access is some dude on YouTube that dedicated 3 years of their life to stitching this together and put together like a 1 hour monologue trying to figure out what the shit
about
the painted world was all about. And like, that's it.
A good English accent is required.
Absolutely.
No one wants an American
or Australian
narrating that shit.
Either one.
You lose
Either one
300 to 500 IQ points the moment you don't have a British accent doing any kind of voiceover work. It's just impossible.
Yeah. It's a magical tool. My Heather is Dutch, so she already has an accent. If I put on a British accent for her, I mean, we're married, so it doesn't matter anyway. but whatever she's wearing, fucking off instantly. I just put on a fake British accent. It works every time. It's
the Irish female accent for me. Irish female accent. Yeah, I'm done.
That's another one.
I'm done. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Dark Souls, Irish accents.
That's why I think Sekiro is the best fucking FromSoft game, because it cut all that bullshit out. Cut it all out. It just gave you, here's story, here's Seki. This happens. You want to learn to it. Characters actually fucking talk to you for longer than one sentence. They have like full paragraphs. They have dialogue. And if some bullshit happens, you can run away. That was like the number one thing in Sekiro for me.
Yeah,
here's 50 enemies in a room, and you can just leave and reassess it. You don't have to die to learn that happened.
I still checked out of Sekiro because at that point, that was at like after I'm done with this style of style of game. But I appreciated all of what you just said. It was like, they finally figured it out that we don't need to be solving Rubik's Cubes to figure out why this guy is running at us pantsless with a giant hammer. Like we can figure something out here where you tell me why this is happening, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
the Nintendo conference. Yeah.
So yeah, as far as that, so they announced a new Kirby game, which is cool. I've never really actually played a Kirby game
in 3 dimensions. Even
this is the first 3D one, right?
I think the first 3D one in 3 dimensions. Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry.
That wasn't
not just
like
a side,
3D
just it's just a side scroller
game.
kind of deal.
Yeah. This is Kirby Odyssey. That's what it looks like, which isn't a bad thing. Because I hear nothing
really
but good
use
things.
the word Odyssey again?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because I didn't see it, so I was like, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to be using the same description.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it is. I forget what, I think it's called like, it kind of is. It's called like Forgotten Lands or Forbidden Lands. That's basically Odyssey.
It's in a post-apocalyptic Earth.
It's Mario Odyssey's world after Mario died, and Kirby's got to fix it yet again. That's what it looks like.
Hopefully he doesn't go to like sort of quasi New York and see other real people, which was like super weird.
They
got like Mario running around looking like Mario, but then walking around next to real ass people, and you're like,
it's weird,
fucking
so
sense,
weird.
Bro.
And then
what
Pauline
kind of an alien is
weird,
Mario?
Like, in between. She's like kind of real human, but still kind of like Mario world human.
Yeah, they didn't think that aesthetic out all that much when they did that. That was weird.
No. Maybe that's why they did the post-apocalyptic, so they don't have to put any humans, but they still get to use the same assets.
True.
Because it looks good. But, I've never really played a Kirby game. I've played little bits of them, and they're always like cool and cute. But I know people who love Kirby fucking stand by them.
It's never been my thing, but all the power.
Yeah. I'm excited for the music, as all with the general Nintendo games. I'm sure the music's going to be good. And then they got into the Switch Online expansion pack, which I was looking forward to some information about this, because there was like rumors about Game Boy, and then they became rumors about N64. And then we're like, oh, who knows? They filed an FCC claiming for like a new controller ID. People were like, oh, what is it going to be? And then it's N64, which is pretty exciting. You get to go back. You can play Ocarina of Time, see how it aged like a bag of milk. Yeah, for the 70th time. They got, I think, like Star Fox, which is cool. Mario Kart 64. So the thing that's cool is they're putting online multiplayer. I honestly never thought I would see the day where I could play Mario Kart 64 online through Nintendo, like not using a third party anything. I never thought I'd see that. So that's kind of crazy.
Here's the real question. Will the online actually be stable?
Nope.
Because every online every online experience I've had, like when I reviewed Mario Golf, this like latest Mario Golf Super Rush or whatever the shit that Mario Golf Odyssey, I think, was actually the name.
Yeah, yes, same assets.
When I reviewed that, when I played some of the online stuff, and it was just like absolutely awful, like unplayable, like in most, like completely unplayable. And I said out loud when I was streaming, I was like, guys, I gotta be real, and I'm not being hype. I'm not being, I'm not overstating this when I say that when I was first streaming in like 2011, I had a emulated Mario Party N64 game with Project 64 version 1.6 that had online functionality that you had to like. Everyone had the same save
like
file
port forward
to sync everything. Otherwise, you drop it in a sync if you have different save files. And we had people playing in like 3 different continents all over the world, and it worked. And I'm playing Mario Golf Odyssey in 2021. And I can't play a full round of golf without everyone disconnecting. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's crazy.
I don't get it. I don't get it at
all. And now
all.
we're paying for it, and it still fucking sucks.
It's still terrible. Did you guys have the original Xbox Live back in the day?
I didn't have it, but I played it a lot. Well, my friends had it, so I played like Halo 2 and stuff a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was
Halo
day
1. Halo
1 Xbox Live, and I still got a dog shit friggin' name tag out of it. But I was day 1 Xbox Live. Somehow the world got their names long before I did. But like I was day 1, and that was another comparison point for me. Is I said, look, I was playing Unreal Tournament on the original Xbox Live over like a quasi-okay cable connection in 2002, and it was better than this. We played at 130 or 140 ping, but it was better than this. And it didn't disconnect, and it wasn't awful, and you could invite friends, and they didn't drop out, and you didn't have to, you had to port forward a couple things, but you still have to port forward now, so that's kind of like whatever, neither here nor there.
Dude,
but it
I
worked.
had to port forward. I had to port forward my PFSense router to play Smash Online. Like 2 months ago, I had to go through. That's how bad it was that I was like, I don't know if I could even do this. There was a guide already made by other people who'd been through the same fucking process to play Smash Online. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Nintendo does enjoy living in 1989. They never left. They're still there.
I'm sick of this shit, bro. I'm sick of this shit. I'm so fucking tired of it. Why the fuck do we have to put up with this? Dude, I love Zelda so much, but why do I have to...
Here's why. I got a question for you. You getting that shit, though?
Yeah, I'm a part of the problem.
Exactly.
This is why. You and 90 million other motherfuckers are going to have this shit. They're going to buy a $700 N64 controller, and if they've never used it before, they're going to learn about analog stick drift that existed in 1996, where you fucking... You play Mario Party and you fucking get Shy Guy across the room, and then your fucking dick is limp on your controller.
And your dick is limp and the stick breaks, so you got to spend another $50 to get another one. Yep. It's gonna... You know what? Nintendo is literally the fucking Jesse Pinkman. Nintendo is Walter White, and we are Jesse Pinkman. They can't keep getting away with this, and we keep fucking giving it to them. Every time.
Every time, bro.
Every time.
But I need my Zelda, bro.
Exactly. They got the IPs, man. That's it.
I don't need it that bad. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What? I'm emulating Breath of the Wild 2. I don't give a fuck.
I'm playing on my Steam Deck.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I'm gonna stream that shit on the toilet, and I'm gonna send it to Nintendo.
That's the fucking word. What is that called? Like, when like somebody has like when you touch the back of their knee, they melt. That's what the Steam Deck does to me. You say Steam Deck? Oh, I'm juiced up.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to I obviously I watch your pod, and I know Jeff. He is juiced up for the Steam Deck. I'm on the same level. I am on the same fucking level. I cannot wait. I'm just Switch. I'm not gonna snap it in half, but in my brain, I'm gonna snap that shit in half.
So here's the crazy thing, right? The Steam Deck stuff is not that much more expensive than a Switch.
Yeah.
No.
But the performance is like
miles
substantially better than the
computer.
Switch. And Nintendo came out and said, "Hey guys, look, we heard that you were talking about this new Steam Deck thing, and let me tell you, that's an exciting piece of hardware. But what if we released the exact same piece of hardware that we had before, but put an OLED screen in it?" And everyone said,
Hey,
yeah!
And you know what? Hey, you know what we'll do? You normally have 4 USB ports, but wait a minute.
What if you had
What if we give you 3 and a LAN port? What about that? Hey, what about that one?
Whoa, slow down now.
Yeah.
That's too much future in my Nintendo. Slow down.
And people went crazy for it.
Yeah.
It's like,
You see,
yeah.
this is the problem. We need more. Oh my God! I made a fucking poll on YouTube, bro. I said, "What are you gonna buy? Monster Hunter Sunbreak, whatever, on."
It's actually Monster Hunter Odyssey. Is actually
Monster
the name.
Hunter Odyssey.
Monster Hunter Odyssey Spring Bake.
What console, right? I have people literally commenting saying, "I'm gonna get on the Switch because the Switch is good enough. I don't really care about PC."
Bro.
Pain.
And I'm like, what the fuck? No.
I saw another post. I think it was 2-6. He did the same poll on Twitter. Same
Switch,
thing.
right?
Fucking 60%
Physical
Switch.
pain.
I'm like,
Dude,
what is
what's
going
wrong
on
with
here?
y'all, man?
And how many of them are using
can't
the
get it.
Switch the way that like it actually makes sense? Like if you're telling me I'm gonna play Monster Hunter on the Switch because I like playing it
They're gonna play
on
at
the
home,
couch,
on the TV.
on the couch or in bed, or like you know somebody else is using the TV. I'm gonna play it handheld, or I'm like I commute on a train and I gotta get my game time in. Like most of them are just not. They're docking that shit. They're putting on TV and they're playing it at 4.5 frames per second and at 300p. And it just hurts,
Dude,
It hurts.
Playing Rise on my 1440p monitor, it looks like fucking trash, bro. It looks like someone took Vaseline and did this on my screen. Like, literally.
Yeah, when I got these new monitors, I like hooked up all my stuff to make sure everything worked. And I was like, oh, sick. Let me boot up some PC games. I got my 120 frames. I got my 1440. All right, let me see. Oh, fuck.
Womp
What is this? What is this Switch?
It looks
I
worse
did.
on
Turn
a
that shit
monitor.
off.
Like,
Well, it doesn't upscale well like whatsoever, and I don't and it's relying like especially the Switch is going to rely on the monitor to do the upscaling for it, and that's just a bad time because you're looking at like it's not even 1080p because whatever it's outputting
It's
in dock mode
720
is probably
upscaled already.
720, so you're going 720 to 1080 and then 1080 to 1440
Through the monitor.
and through your monitor, and like 1080 to 1440 is not good math, and so that's gonna look terrible, absolutely amazingly bad. So there's some sort of like alternate universe in which Nintendo doesn't sell 90 million consoles at like $100 cheaper than other consoles, but like 1/15 the performance level. Like, there's some alternate universe in which that exists, and we get to enjoy some of the best intellectual property in video games at more than 5 frames per second.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
At like resolutions that existed when I was 9. Like I'm not asking for a 4K 60
I don't need that.
HDR.
No,
I'm not
even need
asking
that
for
shit.
that.
Just
I'm
1080
asking for
60.
1080p 60.
That's it.
that's it.
Give me that.
Why can't you give us that? I don't understand that shit.
Well, part of the problem was when they released, and I don't know how much you guys would have remembered this perhaps, but like when they originally released the Switch, their launch window, if they had delayed the launch window about 6 months,
The new Tiger chip,
NVIDIA's new Tegra chip was like literally there.
Yeah.
Not at the end of the 6 months, but like it was coming up like
On
just
point.
before pre-production. So like if they just delayed 6 months, we would have had way better performance immediately, and still to this day. And instead, Nintendo was like, "Fuck that! Our fans will buy literally anything. Just put that shit out there." And they do. And now they've sold as of last month, or in the last month, 90 million Switches.
That is fucking insane.
man.
Is it a high-selling console now?
It is.
Right?
Well, no, not
Or
of
is
all
it
time. The
like
PS2, I think,
PS2
is like
just like 100 something or 200 something.
like some crazy number. And PS4 is a little bit behind that, and then the Switch.
Wow.
3DS
And it's
is
a
up there
handheld.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a
And
it's a handheld.
that's 90 million in like when did that launch? Like, is that 90 million in 4 years? So 4 years, 90 million consoles.
Yeah, PS2, PS3 or 4 came out what 2014 or something like? No, it was before that.
2014.
It's like 2012 maybe.
PS4, 2013.
Yeah. 2013. There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 13.
Yeah, it's almost half the amount of time.
Bro, it's a hurting situation. I hope that whatever they come out with next, like the scary thing is that I can't say with confidence that the next Nintendo console, whether it's an updated Switch or whatever they do, the scary thing is I can't say with confidence that it will do 1080p 60.
Dude,
no,
if
me neither.
I'm telling you right now, if that's not the case, I'm not buying it. Like
You
for
are.
the first time, no, I'm not.
You're
I'm
buying
not
that shit,
buying
bro.
They're gonna get another Monster Hunter exclusive.
My God,
It's
bro.
gonna be there for a year before it comes to anything else, and we're gonna fucking buy it,
Okay,
man.
that's another thing. Capcom, what the fuck, man? We gotta
You know
take
what it
that
is?
money.
long.
It's Nintendo
bought
money.
that shit, man. I can't blame them. You know
They're
how much they
securing the
probably
bag.
paid? They're like, look, Nintendo's like, hey, look, Capcom, you're gonna put this here for a year, nowhere else.
Oh, come
Capcom's
on.
like, but our PC community is growing. We've recovered. We've learned how to develop a Monster Hunter game on PC
and then
now.
they hand them like
It's-
big ass bag of yen.
Yeah, and they
And then
said,
they're just like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what?
So what? Yeah,
They could wait.
Capcom's like, we got our RE engine now. Look at how did Resident Evil 2 did. Look at all the DMC. Nintendo said, look here, take this. It's not going anywhere else. And then we gotta wait a year, and they're gonna do the same thing again.
Capcom didn't need to be told to just take the $500,000 instead of sitting down with Jay-Z for dinner. They just took the $500,000.
Yeah, they didn't even
and
go
walked
to dinner.
away. No, they said
Nintendo
just
just
give
sent
me
the email.
Send that shit by carrier pigeon, and we're gonna
Yeah.
put it on your console first for a year.
Yeah, they dropped it over at Capcom Studios like Baby Mario and Yoshi's Island. Just here, take it. There you go.
Oh my God.
They just dropped it off. And they're like, all right, well, you get a year. That's what I'm saying. They got a year. The expansion's dropping at the same time. So that contract was clearly Nintendo gets base game. It's obvious. That's what the contract was. Because this expansion is dropping on PC at the same time. Meaning PC's probably been done for fucking 6 months. They just can't put it out.
Release that shit on 2022 on a dot. As soon as the ball drops, release the game, bro.
Yeah. So Nintendo, it's just the IPs are just too strong, man. They're just too strong. They just
So we were talking
overpower
about the
any
online
bit of
service at
reason.
some point, right? Like that's where this all
Yeah.
started.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So, like-
I mean,
so,
'cause
like-
that's the only thing fueling it is their IPs.
Yeah, the games they chose, all of them are fire. Obviously,
Yeah.
great first selection. Some really obscure ones that like you
This
would
is like
never have
Winback
thought.
or something.
Yeah,
what
like
the-
anyone
Sin
would
and
have like.
Punishment.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
There's one legitimate gamer at Nintendo that made this list, and they were like, "All right, look, 4
I'm getting
people know
this in
about this
here."
game, but I'm putting it in this list
Yeah.
on launch day." So the list is great. How do I feel about paying even more than they already charge for games that they've sold 58,000 fucking times? And I mean, they like here's the really shitty thing, right? Is that if you're in Europe, did you see this? If you're in Europe, and you download it through the portal, and you have a European console, or you're doing it through Europe, you're getting the PAL versions of these games, but it's like, but like it's the weird, it's like a weird slowed down. It's like the original ROMs, so they didn't even bother to like fix the old ROM issues. For these games, and the European people are freaking the shit out because they're like, "Are you kidding me? You do all this shit. You got online multiplayer, but you're giving us the hack job PAL ROMs. If we're over here, like, what the fuck is going on?" So like, just like Nintendo,
my
everything is
God.
half baked. It's old as shit. It's overpriced. People are gonna pay it. We're gonna bitch about it, and then when a
Yeah.
small community crops up and creates an esport around Mario 64. Or Mario Kart 64 on the Switch Online, then there you go.
And then Nintendo say, nope, you can't stream it.
You can't do that.
It has to be Splatoon. Nothing. We don't want anything. Just Splatoon.
It's the only thing competitive they'll allow is
Yes.
Splatoon. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of
that's it.
Splatoon, what did you guys think of the Splatoon 3?
I
I'm gonna be
tuned the
honest.
fuck out, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. Splatoon 1 has looked the same since the first one that was showing, and I was like, is this new or is this an expansion? Is this like an update? It all looks the fucking same, and maybe.
Look.
You know, like playing Monster Hunter, I'm sure people say the same shit about that game prior to World. They're like, dude, this
Yeah,
looks like
true.
PS2. So like, I get it, but I don't know, man. It's just the same kid shooting ink, and I don't know. It all looks the fucking same.
I appreciate Splatoon from a distance. It's
Yeah.
one of those things. Like
Same.
I played the first one, and you know, I could appreciate it. It's something new, which we never get, like fucking ever in
Yeah.
gaming, like ever. So having something new was a blessing in and of itself. And then it was not only was it new, but it was done actually really well. And
I
it
hear
was
nothing but good things about it.
and it was quite good. It just wasn't necessarily for me long term. I enjoyed my time with it, and that was kind of it. And I didn't play. I didn't play much more than I had to. I beat the campaign. I played some online stuff. It was the most stable online experience of any Nintendo game that I played, which is not a high bar to pass, but nevertheless, it passed that bar. And I appreciate the aesthetic and like the world they built. It's like it's very unique. It doesn't look like anything else. It doesn't sound like anything else. It's definitely Japanese. It's like the closest thing to Jet Set Radio Future in terms of
exactly.
like this is a Japanese game that we've had since then. But I'm not gonna play it. But I don't hate when I see it pop up because I know that it's huge in Japan. Coincidentally, way bigger there than it is here. Not dissimilar to Monster Hunter, for example. But all the same, I like that it exists because it's different, and we don't have it. Like, how many Call of Duties do I need in my life?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
many.
And it's a new Nintendo IP, right? So
Yes.
that's like worth celebrating.
Even
in and of itself.
rarer still.
Yeah. So like, I'm never really like too hyped about it, but the fact that they're still putting something towards a new IP that is doing well, it's like, hey, maybe they'll make more good new IPs that hopefully stick and is not like Fire Emblem. Like,
Just to
please.
go back to
man.
the N64 and the Genesis stuff, though, before we walk away from that one, I do want to ask you guys, what wasn't on that list that you guys would want to eventually pop up? What's like your number one pick for one for N64 and one for Sega?
64? Man, well, they already showed Majora's Mask, and I'm a Majora's
Damn,
Mask
I was
kid.
gonna say that.
I'm a Skull kid. They already showed that, so that's a good one. But if one that they haven't shown, they're not gonna do it. But what was it? Mega Man 60? There was a Mega Man game, like a
Mega
3D
Man
Mega Man
Legends?
game. Was it Legends?
But it
I don't
wasn't
remember what it
called
was.
Legends. It was just called Mega
Yeah.
Man 64.
I want that because I've never played the 64 one. I don't know if it was any good. And then, I mean, Genesis, I mean, it's pretty obvious, what I'd want to see on fucking Genesis all over my fucking room. Just put all the Sonic games there.
Sonic.
They started with the right one. They chose two.
Yes, they started with the best one.
Yeah, fuck
So
Sonic.
they-
Yes, they
got
started
that
with two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but put the rest of them on there. I don't know if we'll ever see Sonic 3 on there because I just feel like that game is in a weird
You
gray
mean
area because
like
of the Michael Jackson licensing and
Dude,
shit.
They're never
and the
gonna
music,
say he
but
actually did anything either on that game.
yeah, but his estate is like, nope, you can't do, nope. That's why that game is like so rarely, like you'll always see the collection of like Sonic 1 and 2 and
Yeah.
like 3D Blast and Spinball and all these other games, and
Where's
then
3?
no 3. Yeah. So I mean, I'd love to see all the rest of those, but who knows? But Sonic 1 and 3 and Knuckles. They honestly, my sleeper would have been Gunstar Heroes. So I'm actually the most excited about that.
That was my sleeper for
'Cause-
Sega, and it was there, and I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is that
Yeah,
doing on
exactly.
this list? Yeah.
Yeah, they got Gunstar Heroes there, and that's gonna have online and maybe shit. But I mean, come on, it's a fucking Genesis ROM. Like, come on, that should work. So if I can play
Ignore-
Gunstar Heroes online,
Ignore the fact
that's-
you only need one weapon and then just like do circles
yeah,
on the
you just hold the
D-pad to
button.
clear the whole
That's
fucking
it.
game.
Yeah,
It's so
You get Laser
badass looking, it
Chaser.
doesn't matter. It's
it
fine.
doesn't matter. You just see the fucking shit going all over, killing everything. Shit's dying off screen.
You want to know when
That's
I
all I
first
need.
played Gunstar Heroes? and maybe you experienced this and maybe you didn't. Did you ever experience Sega TV?
So I know Sega TV, and I always wanted to do it, but it always felt like, man, I gotta find a rich friend whose parents will let them get Sega TV so I could try it. But I never did. But I always fucking wanted it. I was like, no, I'm not adding anything to the cable bill. Cable's for TV, not for games.
I had exactly one friend whose parents were crazy enough to get Sega TV.
It was always a friend. I never know anybody who actually had it. They always experienced it through a friend.
And that's the only place I ever played Gunstar Heroes, was out on Sega TV, and it was a mind-fucking-blowing experience as a kid to, like, just turn on the cable box and, and you have this massive list of Sega titles, and it's just like, it was like Netflix, but Sega, but in...
Dude,
fucking
Sega doesn't get
things before.
Yeah, they don't get any of the props for the shit they did, man.
That
Dreamcast was so far ahead of the fucking game. It was
exactly 365 days ahead of where it should have been, and it got fucking dumpstered.
Which is so fucking sad, man.
You know what?
I remember being like 11 years old, plugging that shit into the phone. Like, you can't use the phone right now, Ma. I gotta go online and try this Choo Choo Rocket demo. Like, that shit blew. And just scrolling web pages. I would just wake up on the weekends, plug it into my Dreamcast, and just scroll on a web page, and my mind was fucking blown. That's it.
Absolutely.
On a Dreamcast.
Man.
Yeah, and Sega TV was crazy. It was literally
Sega TV
retro game Netflix.
Yeah, it was nuts. And it was in 97, 98. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You know what I feel like? Sega is like that one friend who has a little bit of success every now and then, but they always like find a way.
But they also do meth?
Fuck something up all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Always find a way to just fuck something up. Once you see them doing really well, and they come back to you and say, "Bro, I fucked up. Like I tried real hard, bro, but I fucked up." That's Sega, because it's like they do so many like revolutionary things, so many good series games, and then they just fuck it up.
And then the meth just creeps in, and it just takes over.
Like,
look, I'm sorry. It was late night. Somebody asked me to go to the bathroom, and then now look at me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go to recovery, and then they hit recovery, and they do good. 3 years, they come back. I'm good. Here, look.
You're not. You're not good. You're lying. Nope. You've done this too many times. And you know, Sonic is like their right hand, like their right arm that got broken in like '96, and it just didn't heal back correctly, which is why they can't make a good fucking Sonic game anymore.
The one joint it's not coming back.
It's not coming back, bro. Like
Sega annoys me because it's full of obvious talent and has been for a long time. And the people that work there are probably some of the most die-hard video game fans. But it's true. It's like they forget their brain for large periods of time. And it just man, I think the best example of this was when it was the Sonic Mania or whatever.
Yeah.
When they had to literally it was like they were on some sort of weird version of Who Wants to Be a Video Game Developer instead of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they got like they were only fucking 4 questions deep, and they needed to phone a friend. And they need to use, and they called up every fan that's worked on like pixel art for like the last 10 years for Sonic.
And every
said,
Sonic fan game, because
please,
there's 8 million of them.
We don't know what Sonic is. Tell us what it is. And they told them, and then and the fans told them, and then they went and answered the wrong question, or they answered the wrong thing anyway, and then they failed, and then they had to call them in to do all the work, and then it turned out to be the best Sonic game in ages.
Yeah, and so you know what they did? They just said, you know what? You see how that worked out for us? Let's not do that again.
Let's forget all that success.
They did Sonic Mania, and right at the end, some really pretty girl came into the club and was like, "Hey, you wanna come to the bathroom with me, bro? I got a little something in my bag." I got
told you.
I got
some meth.
I think it's called like Sonic Forces. I got some. You wanna see some? I got some Sonic Forces in my bag. It sounds crazy, right?
Painful.
You just have to just tell Sonic Mania to come in here too, and then we can like link them together.
Man,
Yeah.
you know what's even crazier still is that the carryover from Mania to the Sonic movie, the trajectory was the same. Like they were like, what if we just didn't give Sonic shoes, and also made it like what if we made him look a little bit too much like a person that was cosplaying Sonic, and then didn't give him.
What if you made him look like a furry?
He looked like a
gave him, like-
deformed child, bro.
Like Hobbit feet, and then just like, what if it was that? And nobody internally said that's a bad idea. We should not do that. And they went ahead, and then they discovered after they showed the trailer that people were like, "Wow, no, don't do that."
No.
And so what did they do? They called the same fucking people they did for Mania to come in and fix it. It's the same people.
Yep.
It doesn't and they went right back to their old shit afterwards. And like, yes, you fixed not only did you fix the game, you fixed the fucking movie, and now we're just gonna ignore you again. Like, this is crazy. So yes, Sega there is something in there, but my God.
You know what I think it is? I think it's like business advisors just giving them really bad advice. Like,
But they don't get fired. They stay there. They
You know what my
like,
take is? Knowing to a certain degree the Japanese business mindset is it's full of management that says something, and everyone inside is traditionally kiss ass, and they
you
say,
have to.
yes sir, let's get to work. There's no discussion. There's no, oh, maybe that's a bad idea. It's yes sir, let me get to work, and then I'm going to pretend that I'm still working after I've been here for 14 hours, and then I'm going to fall asleep at the office to make it look like I'm working harder. Then we're going to go do karaoke and smash sake for like the next 3 hours. I'm going to wake up in a puddle of my own vomit in the middle of fucking like downtown Tokyo. And then we're going to go back to work in the same suit again and make your shitty hobbit foot ass Sonic. Yes, let's do that. Like, because I can't think of any other reason that it's like a person that doesn't make games, that doesn't know what they're really doing, they just know the business side, but yet there's still the people making all the design choices at the same time.
I don't fucking get it, bro.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it. Like,
I feel like Sega is. I feel at this point, they're alive by PSO, but that's like legacy shit. I don't know how much longer that's gonna last, but they're living off of fucking Yakuza and Persona. I don't hear anything bad about those games, and Persona's kind of a cheat code anyway.
They're borrowing
Yeah, that's a cheat code. Yeah, it's like Yakuza and Persona. That's all they got. Like what? You can't rely on Sonic. PSO was great. Not anymore.
Dude.
I don't know, man.
PSO is like,
And now they were like, hey, look. Like, as a kid, like, all of us, we can all relate to this. I know we're all the same age. Seeing Sega Genesis on Nintendo Online.
That shit is
like,
weird.
That just, it just blows my mind.
that shit
Like,
is
I know we
weird.
have Sonic and Smash, and, like, that was crazy. But just, like, actual Sega Genesis logo, a part of a Nintendo subscription, is just crazy to me.
you know
That
what
just,
happened,
like,
bro? Sega went homeless, and now I moved in with Nintendo. That's what happened.
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what happened.
Yep. They just
Oh,
moved
yeah.
in. Nintendo was like, it's okay. Here, come
I'll
on
take you in.
Yeah.
Well, but you
Yeah.
can't stay here forever. Like, you can come and go. You can come and go.
You're gonna pay rent to be here.
You gotta pay
Yeah.
some rent. But
I know you're homeless,
Yeah.
but this ain't free.
No,
not free.
nothing's free
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah.
For me, I guess in terms of games that weren't there on Nintendo's like 64 side, I mean, shit, they even had Mario Tennis in there. So like,
Yeah.
man, so I'm not even sure what I would want on the N64 side that wasn't already there.
Oh,
I think-
Smash. Sorry. That's
Smash
my
is
one.
probably Smash would
Yeah.
be good, but that like I think in the back of their mind they're thinking if we give
They're not gonna
online to
do
this, that's a bad idea.
They're not
Yeah.
That's bad. I don't know what else. Like there's definitely games, but I think they've hit most. Diddy Kong Racing, is that going to be on there?
That one's on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
It's either in the first one or they showed it in the second one, I think.
Like it's coming up? Okay. Well, then
Yeah,
they've got...
They
I'm
got
good.
all the bangers then.
I'm
Pretty
good.
much.
On the Genesis side, give me Road Rash. I want some Road Rash in my life. Did you guys ever play Road Rash back in the day?
I've never played that. Was that like a kart
Rash,
game, I'm guessing, right?
No, Road Rash was like, well, kind of. It was a biker game and
Okay.
like super bikes and shit. But everyone had like weapons, like chains and like pipes and whatnot. And so you were racing point A to point B, but you were like beating the shit out of people off their
That
bikes
sounds like
and whatever.
Streets of Rage on bikes.
Basically, that because it was the same vintage. That's exactly what that was.
Okay. Yeah, this sounds like Streets of Rage on bikes, which I'm all for.
And it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. So that's probably like the one niche random fuck. But they, like you said, they even had like, they had like some really niche things.
Yeah, and they had
that
Streets
list.
of Rage on there too already.
Streets
of Rage 2, again,
which is the important
best one. Yes, same thing.
Yeah.
Something about the 90s, the 2s were the best ones.
I mean, even if you carry it forward, 2s, I mean, Mass Effect 2 was the best. Halo 2 is arguably, like, as a game overall, the best.
Yep.
Like 2, because you like when 1, you don't really know what you're doing yet. You're kind of flying by the seat of your fucking pants, and you just get there at the finish line, and you've probably like face planted at the finish line. And then on the second one, it's like you have all the assets from before. You know what you're doing. You're a well-oiled machine, and like all of your creative juices are still flowing. Then you get to the third, and you're like, man, I've been doing this shit for 10 years. Coasting. I just need this to end now and just like over. And so I think that's why, like, not that it's Nintendo related, but I think what they said about God of War recently, where Ragnarok is going to be the last one, and they're not doing a trilogy for this.
They know.
This story arc. They know. They're like, this is a bad idea to go further than 2. We're going to stop right here. This is exactly where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to stop right at 2. So for the next thing, things going past the 2 that I am very happy about. That I might get a little juiced up. I try to take a little sip of water. Hold on.
What dis?
Bayonetta 3.
Yo, let me tell you, bro.
Oh
Like,
shit, he's juiced up.
Look, okay, Bayonetta, she looks good, but
She's always looked good.
yeah, but Bayonetta
That's like her
3,
thing.
Like, I don't know what changed. I don't know if it's the hair, the braids. I don't know what it is, but her face.
They've rounded her face out quite a bit. They've filled her face out. When original Bayonetta was like super angular, quite a bit of a longer face. This new one is like the full mom, like
mommy
deal.
Step on me, please.
Yes, they know exactly what they took Nintendo's guidelines and said, we're gonna push this all the way
as far as we can.
to the edge.
As we can.
Nintendo be ODing with the MILFs, bro. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. I'm half expecting some scene in Metroid Dread where we see Mommy Samus.
we have to see her. We have to see her at this point.
Yeah, but Bayonetta 3, what was it? It was there because there's that Twitter account. How many days since Bayonetta news? It's been like 1,300 days for Bayonetta 3 news, and they tweet every day. It's been X amount of days
How do you do
since
that?
Bayonetta. It was like 1,300 days, like 4 years basically, and I was like, that account has to be going crazy. And like the moment they showed that, the Twitter was like, it's Jubilee, and they showed like it's like her with like the fucking the meme like laser eyes sitting at the desk.
It's happening.
And I was like, yeah, it's happening. And I was like, I've never played a Bayonetta game. I've always loved the appearance of Bayonetta. I mean,
Wait,
if you like the appearance
played
of
a Bayonetta game?
No, I don't know. I've just never played one. The first one, what was the first one on? First one was on like PS3.
PS3.
Yeah, and I didn't have those. I had a 360 for like a couple months. I never had a PS3.
You can
and
get it
then
on the
Bayonetta
Switch.
2. Yeah, I have it, but I've just
Why did
never
I
played
say
it.
that?
And
See, this is why you're
See?
answering your own questions.
It's in your. Look what they did.
It's in
Look
there
what they
now.
did.
Shit.
Yeah. And then the second one was like on Wii U, and Wii U is just a Monster Hunter machine. I didn't play anything on that.
Bro.
So yeah, I just never played it. But I mean, I've always appreciated Bayonetta from all angles. So I'm gonna continue appreciating Bayonetta from all angles. I don't know what they did in this third one, but my goodness.
Is that her proportions. I don't know if it's because she's like an angel or something, but she got a tiny ass head and her limbs are too.
Oh yeah,
fucking
proportions
long.
are all.
It's
They're all
like,
weird.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, they're weird, but I don't care.
It's like anything. The proportions in some like the stylized, whatever of anime or anything else that they still look. They're exaggerations of all the parts of a male or a female body that everyone in reality is attracted to. But when it's drawn or it's in that form, it doesn't. It somehow still registers as not being weird. But if you were to like turn her into a real
actual
person,
human,
Yeah,
you would be
weird.
fucking mortified.
Yeah, the uncanny
kind of what it
valley would
is.
be insane.
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah.
And that's like stylized, right? Like if they made her in like a Detroit Become Human or whatever
Oh,
like
no.
engine.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so fucking weird, right? It looks
It'd
so
be
weird.
Very, very
Your
odd.
head's so small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. When that showed up, I was like, I started seeing like, I saw the platinum logo and I was like, all right, this got to be Bayonetta 3. And then people were like, oh, Astral Chain. I didn't even know
I
that
thought
was a
Astral
platinum
Chain
game.
Yeah.
first when I
Yeah,
saw it.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they showed the angel or the enemy, and I was like, oh, I don't know, this doesn't look like an angel because that's like the thing in Bayonetta. You're fighting like angels and fucking Sonic rings and shit.
Sonic rings.
And then I was like, oh, maybe. And then she fucking showed up, and I was like, all right, wait. And then they
Time to sit up
She
in
had
my
the-
gamer chair.
Yeah, I started shrimping. I was like, oh, wait a minute now. Who is that? Oh, that's Bayonetta. And then she winked at me and then did her fucking avocado thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I'm not playing this game, but I'm locked in.
He said, I'm not playing this game.
I'm not going to
That's
play it.
Gonna
But I'm
enrich
locked in.
Sammy's Twitter timeline for a while.
Yeah,
Is what that's gonna do.
that was the first thing. I was like, my Twitter's about to be juiced up right now, and I'm liking anything I see Bayonetta 3 on my feed is getting a like. Every single one. If you go on my Twitter likes right now, 80% of it is just Bayonetta 3 fan art.
Ooh, you
And
know
that's
what I
not gonna
found out? The reason why she looks the way she does is if you played, I think Bayonetta 1 or 2, there is a small version of her in Bayonetta. So there's a time, how do I say this?
It's like an alternate timeline kind of situation.
There you go. Yeah. There was a smaller version of her in an alternate timeline. So I'm thinking that version of her is the main character in Bayonetta.
It's like the
3.
kid. It was like a
like-
kid version of her, basically.
Yeah.
And then this looks like people are speculating that this is the grown-up version of that
Of
kid.
that version.
Yeah.
In an alternate timeline thing, which is also why like the sign that wasn't a B, it was like a P or some shit instead. So
Yeah.
people are speculating that that's all pointing to this being that version of Bayonetta.
Oh, okay. Because like she
Yeah.
looks way different. I mean,
Yeah.
like she still looks like Bayonetta.
Yeah.
But from like 1 to 2, it was just a haircut, and then to 3, they went crazy.
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. that
By the
makes
way, it
sense.
looks
But the
good.
game-
I
the game looks cool.
I played about half of the first one. I'm just that style of game has never been. I'm not a Devil May Cry
Yeah.
fan or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I appreciate them. I think they look amazing. The animation is always like a mind fuck. Like they're really well
Yeah.
done. The controls and stuff. I mean, Bayonetta. Like if I'm comparing Bayonetta and Devil May Cry from what I've played, I mean, Bayonetta is like a better game across the board. At least it was when I played it. I don't know what the new Devil May Cry games and stuff is like, but the controls and everything were so well done, and visually it was amazing. And now it looks worse because it's on a fucking Switch, but that's okay. This is what I said on my Twitter the other day. It was yesterday, the day before, and I said, it was like something along the lines of, I love how Bayonetta 3 looks because it does look good and it looks like it's gonna be a really good game, but I can't help but be disappointed by like the fact that we're missing out on like 20 to 30% of what Bayonetta could be visually because it's on the fucking Nintendo Switch. And,
Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter's the same thing, right? Like it's similar problem is that if the main home is going to be on the Switch, you can only make that look
It's just
so you can
there's
only
a limiter. There's a limiter.
You can only make it look so good on a PC, and so it's not that I would want it to be PC first. But I do feel like Bayonetta, first of all, on Nintendo was a bit of a weird match to begin with. It just like it's so odd. But
the theming of just
it feels like it should be a PlayStation game, or at the very least like a PlayStation, Xbox, and then Nintendo is the afterthought where you turn down all the knobs until it looks like Clay Fighter 64 and then put that shit on the Switch and call it a day.
Rampage World Tour.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that should be the way it is. But obviously, Platinum is happy to work with Nintendo. The games still look and play really great. It's just that because Bayonetta's world and Bayonetta's characters and character, the lead character, are so visually unique and interesting and fun, it always just hurts me a little bit that I don't get to see that in like all of its fucking glory, right? Just like the full deal, instead of like we put 90% of the polygons into Bayonetta, so we only have 10% left for everything else in the game.
For everything else, and the environments are about 1% of that left over. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't know when I think it's next year. I'll be watching people play it. I'm sure I'll be watching people play it. I'm sure there's gonna be people emulating this and making it run at 60, because I'm sure it's not gonna run at 60 on Switch. There's no way. There's so much shit that goes on in Bayonetta. There's no way possible.
Dude, it's an action game, bro. It's fucking 2021, man.
I remember Bayonetta 1 on PS3. I played a very small amount of it, and like you like get into a fight, and then it's like an arena, and then you like fucking time switch or some shit. And that in PS3, the amount of shit going on was like sensory overload for me. So I can't imagine how much sensory overload there's gonna attempt to be in 3, and then the game's gonna chug the 4 frames. So that's disappointing. But again, there's going to be people emulating that shit and running it on their computer and making it at least be consistent frames. So I'll be looking for those YouTube videos.
Steam Deck, Bayonetta 3.
Yes. That's
the meeting of the worlds.
Oh my goodness. I might play Bayonetta 3 if I could play it on my Steam Deck. But yeah, so then I think this was the unintentional, whether it was or not, the finale of the Nintendo Direct.
Ah, yes, the spectacular.
The Mario movie. People.
You gotta appreciate that he basically pulled this one. Like he wasn't on like. He wasn't in any part of the Direct. Head of the company wasn't on any part of the Direct, and then at the end he just like pulls it. Hey. Chris Pratt is playing Mario.
Just fucking leave.
Like, you gotta respect the fucking balls. You haven't been on the whole thing. You show up at the end. By the way, Chris Pratt's gonna play Mario, and then just pieces out, and that's the show. That's it. That's crazy.
Shows up looking handsome, gray going
hair
through the
was
hair,
looking
spectacular,
though.
Uncle Miyamoto.
Yes.
Looking great. Chris Pratt's Mario. See ya. That's it.
That was like, it was crazy. Like, so the internet has obviously become some sort of weird divide where after the shock value wore off a bit. So when it first popped, honestly, the majority of people were like just crazy about the casting for everything, and they weren't even focused on Chris being Mario at first. And then like 45 minutes later, people started going, wait a minute. That's fucking weird. Why is Chris playing Mario when Charles is in this movie not playing Mario? And then the great cultural divide on social media began, like, in the discussion. So how did you guys feel about that decision? For that character specifically, we can talk about the rest of the casting afterwards.
Yeah. But so this actually is kind of one of the topics I had that wasn't necessarily Nintendo Direct, of just like compartmentalizing people and like their jobs and like what they do on the screen versus what they do in their life. And in this current day and age, I feel like that's fucking impossible to do, just because there's so much access to everything. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know if fucking, I don't know, certain actors were shitty or what they did in their free time or what their political views were and all that kind of shit. I had no idea. It's like Twitter didn't exist. social media wasn't really a thing unless you were into like fucking reading magazine tabloids.
Yeah.
You didn't know any of that stuff. So like I could watch a movie of I don't know, like fucking what's the Chevy Chase. Like I hear like he's like terrible to work with. Like nowadays I hear all that stuff. But like back then, you know, all the movies he was in, like, I watch them, cool. I enjoyed it, whatever.
Nobody knew
then,
when
like,
they were watching not Family Matters. Sorry, nobody knew when they were watching, you know, Bill Cosby run around on TV for years and years.
That's another one. Perfect one,
that
right?
he was out there
idea.
spiking drinks.
Yeah, right.
Because his
I had
image
no idea.
was so not that.
Right,
Exactly.
that's a perfect example, right? So we were just watching it, taking it in, whatever, and then it comes out and it's like, yeah, fucking get him off the streets, get him out of here, fuck anything that he's ever done, and like I get it, and like now with the same thing with like Chris Pratt, like I love Parks and Rec, it's like one of my favorite television shows ever, and Andy is like probably my favorite character on the show next to like Ron Swanson, and I've always loved the character, I've loved him as a character, and I've like all the things that Chris Pratt has done since then because that's the first time I saw him. And I was late to learning about all the shit he's done and, you know, like...
What did he do, though? I don't know everything.
I don't know. He's like... I read Twitter, so who the fuck knows what's real and not. Probably should do more research on it. But I just hear, like, MAGA hat, all that kind of shit, political things, and I don't think
he's done. It's not something he's done necessarily.
He's
it's
just
his
associated.
It's his associations, his affiliations, and some of his like. And I don't even think that I don't know for sure, but I don't think he's ever personally talked about almost any of these issues. It's just that people have discovered that he's been associated with or part of certain things that they then. It spirals out of control from there kind of thing. It's not like a James Gunn situation where they pulled back some shit on Twitter from 9 years ago and are trying to like remove him from the face of the earth over it. It's more or less that they just found out that he's involved in things that they were hoping because of the characters that he portrays and how he portrays himself in interviews that wouldn't be him, but then they find out that he does associate with them, and now they're having like this, you know, cognitive dissonance between appreciating or enjoying watching and what he does and what he's seemingly stands for and supports. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? So I have a good I have another example that I just found out the other day. So I was binge watching a lot of older 80s Jackie Chan movies, right? So
yes, Jackie Chan is not without his issues.
I recently found out that Jackie Chan like really, really wants to be on the Chinese Communist Party. Like he really, really wants to be on the party, kissing their leader's ass, literally. And he's like, I feel like freedom is. I'm confused about freedom because too much freedom, you'll be like Beijing, or you'll be like Hong Kong. He was born in Hong Kong, by the way. You know, so he's like, I think the Chinese people need to be controlled. I think that might be better for us. Now, not only that, he can't even join the party because one, he cheated on his wife, at least allegedly, and his son got caught with weed. So, you know,
send him into the sun, obviously.
Pretty much. So Jackie Chan, and it's weird because back in the 80s, he was fighting for pro-democracy in Hong Kong. But I don't know what changed in between the years. Either it's because he doesn't want to lose what he's built up, because the Chinese government will snuff you out. Like, if they feel like you're not.
I think there's a really good chance that that's at least a
I think that's a part
portion
of it. I think it's a part
of it.
Yeah.
Like because you like his whole company, everything is all based in China.
Yeah.
And he's like one of the main faces of China as an entertainer, and we already know because of the internet now and more firsthand accounts of people living there, just how involved the government gets in everything. I can only imagine how micromanaged somebody like Jackie Chan and other still living there members of their entertainment industry are by the government. And like you said, he used to support, pro-democracy and whatnot. Who knows? Nobody will ever be able to tell, really. But ultimately, if you look at China's track record for how they tend to stick, the government sticks their hands in everything, I feel like there's a good shot that that's playing a pretty major role in his public displays.
I'll be honest, it definitely does, because I just feel like, one, his son getting caught with weed, it's not the worst thing, right? It's
in
not
China, it is.
It's not the worst thing. I feel like he's more worried about their image, because how like hard the Chinese government goes on that, rather than, oh, my son got caught with weed. Like, but now it makes him look bad because he went to jail for his son. Both of them went to jail. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, the Chinese people hate Jackie Chan now because he's kissing the government's ass. So it's like, you can't win in his situation. Because it's like, if I tell you how I really feel, if that is how I really feel, then the government's going to like destroy me. And if I don't, then everyone else is going to fucking hate me. So it's like,
yeah, and like that's going back to, like I said, being able to compartmentalize that stuff. I feel like for one, it's like, dude, whatever the fuck Chris Pratt does, it's not actually going to affect my fucking life. It doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah.
Well, no matter how he feels about whatever politics and whatever, look, man, I still got to wake up every day, work, fucking eat shit, shower, pay my bills. I still got to do all that shit, right? So like, it doesn't matter. Whatever he does, whether it's good or bad, and he's playing Mario, it's not going to change. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could, because social media has somewhat powers now. But like doing that compartmentalizing in my head, I feel guilty doing that. It's like, maybe I should like read up about all this other things that he does. And it's weird. And I don't know what the right answer is for that kind of stuff. I generally just try to become apathetic on it, because it's like, you start digging into it, and then it's just like exhausting, like just getting all this information. It's like, dude, I just wanted to watch a Mario movie.
The thing is, because of my personality, I like to look for information all the time, even if I regret it after, kind of. But it's like, things like that, I don't kind of let it bother me unless they're doing something heinous. Like, if you just have a different opinion on things, or if you just have a different lifestyle that I didn't think you had, whatever. Like, if you're a decent human being, I don't give a fuck. If you think Chinese being a communist country is good for the Chinese people, then whatever. Whatever. I don't care. Just, your movies are good. I'm gonna watch them because they're good. Like, Jackie Chan's not my hero. He's just makes good movies. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's how I look at it. Now,
I think everyone, has a line probably, right?
Yeah, they have a line. I get it. Because
Yeah,
it's like,
and it's just like where do you? Everybody's line is different, right?
yeah.
So then, and everybody has a voice in this day and age on Twitter. So then you just see where everybody draws these lines, and where everybody draws a line, they're always going to say all the negative things on why they drew that line, not the positive things of why they're on the other side. So you just keep seeing these things, and it's hard to be like, it's hard to, if you're looking at social media, it's difficult to form your own opinion off of those kind of things when you didn't know anything about it prior, right?
Yeah.
Like when that's the information all you're getting, it's like, all right, well, I keep seeing this. And now I'm like, fuck, man, I thought it was cool. I was like, oh man, cool. Chris Pratt, Mario. Like, sure. I mean, it's weird that fucking Charles is in the movie not playing Mario, but as a cast member, it's like, oh, cool. Chris Pratt, fucking, and now I'm just like, all right, maybe I shouldn't watch this movie now. It's weird.
Yeah. That's how it makes you feel. It's weird, man. I just feel like people can't do shit, bro. Like, you gotta be like a saint. You gotta be a saint, and even then, if you have like a different political opinion, then even that's gonna get you shot down. Like,
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this, like this aspect of why people are rattled, their cages are rattled about Pratt getting the Mario role, I like the whole discussion. I actually just talked about this on my stream yesterday. Actually, this exact discussion around the where do we draw the line between being able to separate an artist, whether it's an actor, a musician, like a artist, whatever it is. Where do you draw the line between or separating them from what they've done or what they represent or support? Where do you draw that line, and when, is the answer to just be apathetic about everything, or should we, exercise what little we have as consumers of art to the best of our abilities to support what we feel needs to be supported, and if they don't support that, or if they're antithetical to that, then to avoid it? The answer is, of course, probably like everything else, it's somewhere in the middle, and everyone has their own line. So, for some people, for me, for example, to go back to Bill Cosby, even though I watched that as a kid, and it was like Bill Cosby was like another dad, right? I can't go back and watch his stuff and not have that, not because the internet told me. But because of what he did and was convicted of, that's going to color my opinion of him as a person, which will bleed into me appreciating his works. It's the same as if all the stuff that they tried to pin on Michael Jackson for decades, if any of that was ever proven, and I popped on, Billie Jean, I'd be looking at that shit in a totally different light. I won't be able to appreciate it. Case in point, how many of us can listen to fucking Ignition remix by R. Kelly and not want to fucking shower?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Right?
That's what I was gonna say, right? I can't go back to that. And that's like not people talking about shit on social media. It's like, look, this is proven, and I can't listen to it.
And so everyone has a line, right? So some people will still bump R. Kelly like it's just their jam, because they'll say to themselves, I like the song. I can ignore the context of this song and where it would have come from. I'm separating the person from the art, but for me, I'd look at that and go, I can't. I used to bump that song, but now I'm gonna turn that shit off immediately.
Space Jam is one song less.
Yes,
that
exactly.
soundtrack is one song less,
which sucks because that song is really good, but you can't listen to it anymore without thinking, about R. Kelly. So. Yeah, I think that's kind of what that falls into. And of course, like the internet, like anything else, everything is done to the extreme. So people probably naturally feel that way, but then when they're on the internet, it's like they see everything through a more extreme lens, and they feel like they have to match that extreme nature of whatever they're seeing. And so you just end up with people that are have a relatively mild opinion. Not everything is a fucking hot take, but then they go online and they see a couple of other opinions that are relatively or more extreme versions of their own, and they're like, oh shit, well if I just say this, I'm gonna look like I'm just I'm white bread. I gotta get out there and fucking like say something like I gotta join this rage. Where's my pitchfork? So yeah, I mean I think that's where I stand on that stuff anyway, because there are some people like we just discussed that I can't go back to without it, like, and there would be people, for example, where depending on what they represent or have done, maybe I can look past it enough to still at least partially enjoy works of theirs that I've enjoyed in the past, right? Like, for example, here's a good example. Tom Cruise, Scientologist, right?
Yeah.
To me, that shit is whack.
I don't care.
As hell. If you want to spend $4 million to climb the Scientology ladder and then, suck L. Ron Hubbard's dick, you do you. Right? Like, that's not, you're not, you want to jump up and down on Oprah's couch and shit, you do whatever you want, but I'm going to go back and watch The Last Samurai and still call it one of my favorite movies. But if he starts kicking puppies and punching babies, now I got a problem. Now I can't watch The Last Samurai anymore. Right? But when it comes to like this role for Mario, for me, people got upset about it because from my timeline anyway, we're more upset about the fact that Charles wasn't Mario more so than what Chris Pratt has been associated with. And that discussion for me boils down to two things. One, the lead role of the movie think about what it takes to get a Mario movie greenlit in 2021.
Yeah.
First of all, think about what if you've not seen the previous Mario films, maybe you wouldn't be questioning why Chris Pratt is the lead role in a Mario film in 2021.
Dude, every Mario sounds like a husky dude from Brooklyn.
I keep seeing people saying appreciate the old Mario movie. People saying appreciate this movie now that we have. I'm like, what are you talking about,
dude? The new
those movies were not
even
great.
Live action, bro.
Those movies were also terrible.
They were.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean appreciate that now? Like, no,
I don't want to appreciate that.
I'll be fair though.
Koopa had a Bayonetta-sized head and a fucking Broly-sized body. Like, what am I appreciating about that? What the fuck?
That's one of my movies that's so bad that it's good.
Oh, definitely. It's like The Room.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's so bad that it's good, but that again, it's so bad.
But you don't want that again. They're not going to want it. Nobody spends $300 million on a movie and goes, you know what? Let's aim to make this as bad as possible so that it's good.
No.
Unless you're I don't know, Scary Movie or some shit. Like maybe that's when you're aiming for that
parody
shit.
or whatever.
So I don't have any problem. I don't have any major issues with Chris being in the role, if only because I look at it this way. One, it's putting asses in seats at the theater when it comes out. Because it's Chris Pratt, right? Also just like all the other people they have in this casting, which is insane.
This whole cast is
they're
nuts.
all to put asses in seats, right?
Yeah.
Not ignoring the fact that Chris Pratt actually is a really good voice actor. I mean, he's Emmett in the Lego movies, and he does a really good job there. So I mean, he's a proven act on top of his name. Secondarily to that is Charles is still in the movie for a reason. Charles has done the Mario voice for 3 decades, but try and imagine an hour and a half of listening to Charles doing Mario.
I was gonna say
I would cut my ears off.
I could not listen to that.
Have you
and
heard
I don't think
him?
He's built for that either,
have
right?
You heard
his
him
lines.
Do full lines in Mario?
Yes.
It's
Rough.
annoying.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't do that. So it's I need to hear a normal voice. Please.
I don't think
that's like saying. Imagine if I had a whole movie of Bowser just no, fucking no, dude.
Give me Jack Black. I want to hear Jack Black.
Exactly.
I feel
give me Jack Black.
I feel like a lot of people on the internet just have a really impulsive emotional response to everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about, oh wait, since when does Charles ever actually talk as Mario?
Did you guys see the Bo Burnham special on Netflix?
No.
Did you guys watch that shit? Okay. So there's a segment of that where he discusses this exact phenomenon where it's this skit that I'm gonna butcher this. I mean, watch it if you can because it's actually really good, especially for our age. It's specific to our age in the internet culture. So where he says, saying he's just sitting in this chair with this dramatic light. Can any singular one person just shut the fuck up? Does everyone have to say every thought about everything,
dude,
at every time, all at the same time? Is that necessary? And then he says, yeah, can any singular one just shut the fuck up? And that's the internet. That's exactly what the internet is. It's people just stream of consciousness onto social media. No thoughts, just emotions. And just, my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's so many times I'll be on Twitter, I'll type something, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Sam. And it goes right to the drafts. Just at least 3-4 times a week, I'll type a tweet and be like, Sam, you gotta shut the fuck up. Go send that to the drafts.
I still press tweet though on mine. I tell myself, shut the fuck up. I'm still pressing tweet every time.
This is Mike.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, Mike, shut the fuck up.
I can't. I don't know. Because I feel like I'm the one that just has I feel like sometimes I'm just the voice of logic in a community that's always really emotional about their opinions. So I can't not say it. I just want to say it. just to see what people think about what I say. And I think it's funny when it bothers people too. Like that's the funny. It makes me happy to see that you might be self-aware enough to know that you sound like an idiot, and the fact that I told you that you sound like an idiot. Like, I like that.
Yeah, I've been like known to get in Twitter arguments for really stupid reasons, and some of it's like logic. You just throw logic out onto the internet, and then you wait to see what happens. And part of you hopes that it's reacted to with similar logic, but then you get deeply disappointed and depressed with the state of the world when somebody shows up and is like, you know, MK Ultra, do you hear about it? It's the government's coming for us. And so you're like, fuck, I'm just talking about Mario Odyssey.
Yo, dude, that's, oh my God. Let me tell you, when I first started playing Genshin Impact, dude, all the time, I say, oh, dude, Genshin's actually really good. But dude, the gacha,
did you know in China?
Dude, the gacha in that game is terrible. It's predatory. Why are you playing that? Dude, China, Kami game. Kami game. Why are you playing
that? You know what you say? Do you ever open a pack of Pokemon cards? If so, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Dude, when someone argues with me about gacha,
that last week?
I did.
I think we did.
I said,
same
my
thing.
dude, just think about it this way, right?
We've been playing Pokemon since we were fucking 8.
Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Gumball Machine, my dude. Like, come on.
Have you bought Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword more than 3 times?
Shut the fuck up if you've done that. Like, just shut up. Dude, because the moment I said I'm playing Genshin, I had like 5 messages on Discord. Like, you're playing that game? And I'm like,
I think somebody messaged you and was like, are you okay?
Yeah, I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You should have just responded like, no, I'm spiraling out of control. I'm in massive debt. I've just maxed out my 3rd credit card.
Like, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's why, like, sometimes I'll say stuff sometimes that's like triggering, kind of like, especially Monster Hunter things, and then I'll see a reply, and I start to type, and then I'm like, this guy's, he's not even gonna read this or understand what I'm saying. Like, I'll type perfect English. He's like, he's not gonna understand this. I'm closing this app. I can't get past that part. I can't.
You know,
when I see just some dumb shit,
it's fun for me. Like,
I just can't.
When someone says something really stupid, I'm literally laughing the whole time. If you can imagine me tweeting, it's me laughing at every fucking letter I'm writing, I'm typing, and then once I see them have an emotional response, and they make no fucking sense, bro. This shit is so fucking hilarious. Like, it fuels me, bro. Like, it fuels me. Like, I love it. Like the one dude who said, ItMeSheesh Rise is not getting a Master Rank expansion. And I was like, what? Huh? You said something? Yeah, now look. now look.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess the rest of the cast fucking star-studded.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole
good.
cast is
pretty
star-studded. Keegan playing Toad, I feel like that's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
All the Luigi memes I've been seeing for Charlie Day, love them. I'm liking those the same way I'm liking Bayonetta 3. Star of the movie is gonna be Jack Black.
Peach,
yes,
perfect.
also.
Yeah, she did
perfect.
Queen's Gambit. She did Queen's Gambit more recently, I guess, and that was a fire show as well. And I feel like of all the casts, they like cast her because they were like, you kind of look like Peach, so we're just gonna cast you. Cast you.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it was like, oh, fucking, I don't know, just put Keegan-Michael Key in his fucking Toad or some shit. And then for her, it was like, oh, you literally look like the person that we have in our games. Like, come on in.
I mean, I feel like on a certain day, Jack Black could look like Bowser. But I feel like there may be a day of the week where he looks like Bowser.
at least one day of the week where he looks like Bowser. Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's an awesome role. Fucking Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is genius. I don't know who thought of that.
Dude, I saw clips of people fucking
genius.
stitching the old like 3D television show with
so
Seth Rogen just laughing, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yes, yeah, absolutely amazing. So I think that cast is gonna be awesome. I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna watch it. I don't know if I'll go to theaters for it. But
here's a question. Here's a question before we wrap this segment up for this movie thing is, Does Chris Pratt put on an Italian accent? Not should he,
man.
because I think the answer we all know is no. But
no.
does
Does
he
he?
ultimately put it on?
I think he will. Unfortunately, I think he will. And if he does,
The level of
I hope
disrespect.
Luigi talks a lot more.
Oh my god,
I think he will. I can see him doing that.
bro, he's gonna get killed by the mafia, bro. They gonna come after.
I can see
God.
it.
They gonna come after him.
Yeah, I can see it. Unfortunately, but yeah. So I mean, that's. I think that pretty much wraps up the direct. They showed some other games and stuff, Metroid Dread, some remakes and stuff. But those are pretty much the key things that cover the direct. And honestly, we had other shit to talk about, but the direct kind of hit us hard, man. There was a lot there.
There was.
And I wasn't ready. I was like, oh, the direct's gonna come. There's gonna be maybe like one thing that's cool, but Nintendo Switch Online shit, and like, yeah, whatever. They said no. They said, here, look, we have a buffet of things we're gonna show you. And for me, I don't know, maybe not surprisingly so, but compared to that Sony one, they went off. They went crazy. Yeah. And the Sony one wasn't bad. Like it wasn't bad, I don't think the Sony one was bad at
okay.
all. But I was watching the Sony one. I was like, I don't feel like none of this is for me. Maybe that means I'm just into kid shit and Nintendo stuff is for me, but I don't know.
What about Forspoken?
That's the one with the girl with the talking wrist or whatever.
Yeah.
That shit, I don't know, man. I can't get past the voice acting. I can't get past the voice acting trying to sound like it's cool, like it's like 2010. Like, hey, look, I know what the hip words are.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't get past that shit, man. I don't
Pog.
know. Yeah, like
no,
I'd half expect her to say Pog. Yeah,
Please,
like
no.
if the voice acting feels like that, and this is like a cinematic movie, right? Like it's a game, but it's meant to look like a movie, so there's gonna be a shit ton of voice acting, and I just feel like the voice acting is gonna be
if everything had
oh
voice.
man, she's gonna be like, oh, I got this ability. That's awesome, dude.
That's what she's doing.
I can't.
Like,
yeah,
I can fly now. Wow, look at this shit. Oh my god.
And you know what it reminded me of when I watched that trailer? That all was so campy and fucking awful. Like it just pulled me right out of the whole fucking thing too. Like
yeah.
But what it reminded me of was like back, and they still kind of do it now. But there was this period of time during E3 events and whatnot in like the mid to 2010s, like 2013, 14, 12, where when they did E3 events and it was and Ubisoft was the worst for this. They would have in multiplayer stuff, and they'd pretend to be talking to each other like you would normally.
Yeah,
playing online games.
The first thing I think of with that is fucking Division. I remember they showed Division, and that's exactly what they did. And I was like, dude,
so
nobody
painful.
talks like this. Nobody talks like this. Stop, please.
Hold on, let me go heat up my Twinkie real quick. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, dude, this Hot Pocket really is cold on the outside and too hot on the inside.
Dude, you got your Mountain Dew? You ready?
Yo, hold on. I gotta get my cinnamon toast crunch right out of the fridge real quick. Wait on. After I reload, do you got some ammo? All right, let me go to the fridge. It's like, I can't do this, man.
Come on, man. Let's grind together, bro. Come on. You don't gotta work. It's Friday. What you gotta do? Gotta grind. We're gonna grind.
Yeah, so that's how that feels, that game. So it'll probably be visually stunning, but I
you know what though? If this goes for anime too. Like if every anime was voiced like Castlevania was, it'd be fire.
Dude.
You know, you had damn, what's this dude's name? Whatever. You had the Belmont cursing out fucking.
Yeah, that anime was amazing.
It was good. They were like, just fuck you. Okay, suck my dick. You know, instead of like anime, it's like, you said what? Oh, I can't believe he said that. He said suck my dick. Oh no, I gotta clap back at him. Like what the fuck, man? Like,
That's a deep
Yeah,
cultural
Castlevania was
divide
great.
right there is what you're experiencing there. Castlevania was done for the Western audience, mostly by the Western,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like
Yeah.
over there,
And
it's
they
like,
nailed it.
You know, it's very much the opposite.
Very
and
much the opposite.
Yeah, and it can be kind of cringe, but that's also why it's a challenge for like games or anime where they're doing Japanese to English translation, and why for the longest time, dubs were just absolutely awful forever and ever, and then eventually they became listenable because they finally started to get people that were fluent enough in both languages to be voice directors
To translate it.
to actually properly translate and guide the voice acting talent to not sound like a robotic, Google Translate with like a fifth grade education, and like now we're getting like actual good dubs, and not that anyone will, people still bitch about the dub versus sub thing, but yeah, it's for that reason. And then but Castlevania exactly was done incredibly well.
Yeah, it was kind of perfect for anime because it wasn't that cringy. It was like people were talking like normal people.
That's what well, it's also like it's deceptively easy in that it's not easy at all.
No, it's not
to
easy.
write natural sounding dialogue, right? Like that's super difficult to write. Only a few people really do a good job in terms of authors of writing proper dialogue, and then most people just kind of hack their way through it, and you unfortunately don't get the cream of the crop most of the time when it comes to video game dialogue. It's pretty nasty. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a direct. Like I said, we had other stuff on here, but we're fucking 2.5 in. So we'll just have to get you on a different episode and we can talk about not Nintendo Direct. Hopefully they don't smack us 2 days before the pod on all this Nintendo Direct stuff.
I'm down for whenever.
Yeah. So at the end of the pod, we usually take some questions. Either people leave them in the comments or on the stream and all that kind of stuff. And we just got one today, which is good because we had enough Nintendo Direct. So this one's from BM or Leonix, and it's a simple one but a hard one, and it's top 3 favorite tracks from your top 3 favorite games series. So I don't know if that means 9 songs.
Holy
or 3
shit.
songs. And I don't know if I could do 3 for all of them, but I'm not going to go first. So one of you guys go first.
Okay. Let's start with, there's at least 3 or more, obviously, from Jet Set Radio Future that I could just pick right now as some favorites. Whether it's humming the bass line is like the one that you hear when you're at the home that like get down, get it. Like that's just fine. And that whole game,
the whole soundtrack is
just
amazing,
fucking incredible. So
and
that's
is
an
a
easy
legend
one.
on Twitter.
He's become a meme god on Twitter for sure.
He's a meme lord.
I follow him just to see what the internet teaches him to do next. It's like watching like the internet affecting him is like watching when we remember when you were younger you had the Furbies and you were trying to teach it to curse. That's like his his relationship with the internet. It's like the internet wakes up and goes, how can we get him to say some fucking crazy shit today? And that's like kind of what
And
happens.
Works every time.
And it works every time.
Every fucking time. Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
I would say that Morrowind is my favorite game of all time, and though like one of the 2 songs in the whole thing, the main theme, of which they derived almost every other Elder Scrolls theme from, and they all sound almost exactly the same. Is another one, and then other than that, geez, I don't know the name of the track specifically, and I'm sure I could pick even like more and perhaps more specific ones, but in the interest of time, I remember when I watched when it was first released the trailer for Mass Effect 2 and the music that hit during that trailer, fuck, the nerd chills were like over 9,000, and my body was so ready for Mass Effect 2. So it's that one. And I guess one more since it's coming up. We got another one coming up here soon. The Halo. Shit, bro. Halo's menu music. I mean, how
That's
many
classic.
people know just hearing
That
the
is
chanting,
a classic.
right? So I'll say those.
That's just classic. And what about you, Mike?
That's really
I left
hard.
out a lot of Japanese RPG stuff that I could have listed for like days too.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's hard because I have like a wealth of video game music. Like, damn, this is all right. So, one would be this is fucking ridiculous. I thought about it and I grabbed it in my mind and then I just dropped it because I can't remember. there's so much like I could say this Pokemon Black and White 2. Pokemon Black and White 2 Battle Subway theme. Like bumping. What else? Final Fantasy XII's Prelude. Ooh,
See, that's a cheat code.
Final Fantasy XII's Prelude.
Just Prelude in general is a
Yes.
fucking cheat code.
But 12's Prelude.
I don't know what they did. They sacrificed
is wild.
at least 3 families to make the Prelude. At least. It has never not worked.
Yeah.
In every game I hear it in. It has never not worked. It's a cheat code. There's like 40 versions of it in 14, and they all sound great. I don't know how they do
Well,
it.
when the track is written by a god,
Soaking.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
literal.
no. You mean Uematsu.
No, Umat. Yeah, Nobuo legend.
Nobuo
yeah.
Umatsu.
But then you
Nobuo
mi- and
Umatsu.
then how can Umatsu and Soken be under the same franchise? Like, that's not legal. That can't be allowed.
I mean,
Yeah, this is cheat code.
In fact,
It's
Umatsu
cheat code.
did the soundtrack to my favorite Japanese RPG that is not Final Fantasy, and that's Lost Odyssey. And the tracks in Lost Odyssey are fucking the theme for the map, where like it's like the main theme, and then out of nowhere, Umatsu says, "Fuck you, you're getting electric guitar. You're getting us this sick fucking guitar riff out of nowhere." And it's just like that whole game soundtrack is I mean, the game itself is also fire, but the soundtrack is probably my favorite that he did. Everyone will say One Winged Angel or like some shit like that, but yeah, and obviously that's amazing, but I mean anything Umatsu has done is just
It's just legendary.
pick any of them. They're good.
I'm trying to think of the third track would probably be from anything from Streets of Rage too.
Yeah. All right. Well, there goes one of mine. So I don't know if I could pick 3 tracks from 3 games that specifically, but Streets of Rage 2 fucking go straight. Like that may be one of the best first stage songs of any game ever. Just you hear the first and you're like, all right, I'm ready. What? Give me a bat, give me a pole, I'm fucking.
And you don't
punching
need
like
to
I
hear
need something.
anything else in the first 3 notes without seeing
Yeah.
anything, and you know it's Streets of Rage 2. Like you get that.
You know
and you're
exactly what it is. And then also fucking what is it? Never something alive. Just the boss fight, the first boss fight.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know what
Song.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, that one as well. And the whole soundtrack, I can't really.
good. That whole game is top to
Yeah,
bottom.
it's so good.
The whole game. Just Streets of Rage 2, it cut that whole soundtrack in 3 sections and just make that 3 songs. So there you go. For another one, it probably have to be it's really some Sonic
hard.
3.
Oh, Sonic 3?
Sonic 3.
But what song?
Sonic 2 is my favorite game, but the Sonic 3 soundtrack is just too strong.
Oh man, Emerald Heroes. Fuck, I can't talk.
Emerald Hill Zone or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Sonic 2 is good. See, I don't know, maybe Sonic 2 cuz the special stage and
then it gets mad hype.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Sonic. I don't know. It's hard. It's very hard. I'll just say Sonic cuz the whole franchise, like there's not a bad except for like that one DS Sonic Chronicles game. There's like no bad Sonic soundtracks. Like that's no matter what Sonic has been through, there's not
At
really
least the music is good.
Yeah,
Man, that's
the
a
music
low
is
bar,
always
bro.
pretty good.
That's
What?
That's
Sonic
a low
music?
bar. No. But I mean, like, as long as the music is good, no.
Oh no! I mean, I'm not gonna buy a
Oh.
game just because the tracks are good.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
but like
I'm
that
just
is-
saying the music.
That's the redeeming
that's
quality.
Consistent. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the redeeming
I mean,
quality of Sonic
that's
is the
true.
music.
It's kind of sad.
And
Man, Mega Man 2's was it Willie's World Team or whatever that
Wily-
like that
yeah.
that dun, 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 dun. Oh no, that's the,
oh yeah,
I know you're
Was
talking
that it?
about.
no, I know which one you're talking about because all fucking
no, that's
Capcom
Guile's
songs sound like
theme. What the
Guile's
fuck am I
theme.
doing?
But all of them sound like that. You
They
can
do
take
sound like
every
that, yeah.
fucking big Capcom theme and make it sound like Guile's, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's how I hear it.
Yeah, but that track is fire.
And then for a third one, that's really hard. I don't know because I'm a Final Fantasy VII stan. Hard. That whole soundtrack is
One Wing
amazing.
Angel.
Yeah, I mean One Wing Angel, of course, but I mean just the battle theme, man. Like I could just
Yeah.
that and then you know what? No, Final Fantasy VII remake. That's my third one. Final answer.
Dude,
that whole soundtrack.
when you
the
fight
remake
Rufus?
specifically.
Rufus's theme
Yeah.
and remake.
Yeah.
God damn,
yeah.
bro.
It's a good thing the
7
music
remake.
was good because everything else about that remake wanted me to, made me want to friggin' throw myself off the roof of a building.
Oh no, I still haven't played it because I refuse to turn my PS4 on. So I'm waiting for the PC version.
Can I give you a pro tip? If you
yes.
really, if you respect the original game, and when I say that is what I mean is there's a difference between artistic intent being like uplifted a little bit, and then at some point somebody else came in and redoes the whole thing and calls it the same thing.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
I know about that.
Let me say
Yeah.
this. Let me say this.
It's a remake. It's not a remaster.
Nomura lost after Final Fantasy VIII. Nomura should have retired from video game development and never wrote or did anything in gaming ever again. His career starts and stops at 8, and his involvement in remake.
Bro, it should have stopped at
Actually-
Kingdom Hearts.
First of all, Kingdom Hearts shouldn't exist either. Let's be real. You need 3 or we were talking about Dark Souls being convoluted story-wise. You need 4 or 5 college degrees and at least 3 to 5 bags of magic shrooms to get through that fucking gong show. The Rat's Nest. And you know why? Because Nomura is insane. He doesn't know how to write anything, and every story is the same. And so here's the thing: if you know more or less the themes and how like the games play out for that, then Final Fantasy VII Remake, guess what? You already know where they're going with it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. In
more
fact,
like-
he's Nomura with the first installment successfully turned Final Fantasy VII into Kingdom Hearts, and it made me want to punch everything.
It's more like Final Fantasy VII rewrite because it's gonna be rewritten.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
I
has
mean-
been, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are
See,
lots of
for
good
me-
things about it, but that's not one of them.
Yeah, see, the thing for me, obviously the music, because I don't have to play the game to love all the music.
Oh, the music's fire,
And-
but we know why.
That the combat director or somebody who at least worked on the combat is the same person who created the Charge Blade of Monster Hunter. So that's really all it took for me.
Wow.
That's it. That's why the counters and everything are so fucking good in that game, because it's the same guy who made the fucking Charge Blade in Monster Hunter. So
The combat is.
all I need, I guess we talked about that last week. All I need is parries, and I know that game has it. That's all
Sort
I need.
of.
I just need parries.
It's not. It's
technically
not
there.
traditional.
Whether-
though.
whether they're meaningful parries, whether you need to do them or not, that's a different story from what I see. But you can parry.
It's not as satisfying.
I see.
Though. I'll tell you.
How
that.
much do you like fighting a camera versus fighting the enemies?
Oh, see, all right, well, all right, fighting cameras.
Look,
yeah.
I'm famous. I got banned off of N4G for my review because there's so many PS4 fans there that they mass reported my review and got me banned off of that site from posting any more reviews there. So like,
Christ.
I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars, and I wrote a fucking magnum opus, like it's like a 5 or so thousand
Oh my
word
God.
or more, maybe even longer than that.
Holy shit.
So I explained every reason. I told you everything I liked about it, but I also told you why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And
Yeah.
most of the good about that game is the art team carries it like a god. All of the character updates, like taking
it
the
looks
characters,
amazing.
everything's incredible, and the music is spectacular. Every other aspect of that game is soul-crushingly, depressingly bad. And anyone that likes it, I'm convinced, is only seeing it through one of 2 lenses. 1, they never played the original. 2, they were too young to remember anything about the original. Or 3, incredible rose-tinted glasses. Beyond, like rose-tinted so much that they can look past the fact that it's not even nostalgia anymore because of what they did to it. So it's like a weird fucking thing for anyway. That's a sore spot. I'm just gonna go over here.
we found a sore spot.
He said, "Fuck that game, bro."
Man, fuck Nomura specifically. The fact that we know that he's not as involved in the next segment makes me so much happier. It gives me hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
It means that
yeah.
there's a hope.
Did you play
Yoshi.
Intergrade? Was that
I
also?
I did.
a sore
He was Intergrade was the problem with Intergrade is that you spend a bunch
Well,
of
it
money
didn't
for like nothing. Which
okay.
was part of my problem with it. But you know, it was a glorified. Really, they put like the what was that mini game? But in the original game, it wasn't a mini game. It was an actual thing. It was a battle of the
Condor?
Condor,
Oh,
yeah,
fucking
Fort
hell.
Condor. Okay, so Fort Condor, they were like, all right, this is how much they changed the game. So we're not going to revisit Fort Condor. We're going to turn it into a mobile game and put it into Intergrade, and it's just a mini game that you can play that you don't necessarily have to, but it's there, and that's Fort Condor. They've
You know what? I'll
relegated
take
an
it,
entire
because I
arc.
hated it.
Well, yeah, like I hate it too, but it's like, but the rest of Intergrade was also not good,
No.
like at all. Visually incredible.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah.
Do I need the fact that Japan has a weird fetish for young girls that are basically over-sexualized?
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
She's like 16 years
cool.
old. She's
Yeah,
now
that's like the main thing for me is like.
Actually, I don't think
why
she's
do they make her
16. I
look
think she's like
that?
14 or 15.
Yeah,
She's got her
she's way
pants
younger than that.
unbuttoned. She's got like the
Yeah.
short shorts and everything and all this. And they characterize her
weird.
as somebody who's like 22, 23 years old. And then like it's just a fucking weird.
Why can't they just make her
thing.
older? Why the fuck?
Or just
Yeah,
button her
it's-
pants. Let's start with that. Leave her the age, but maybe just give her a functioning pair of shorts. That would be a good start.
And she was
maybe
built,
that.
She was built like a literal stick too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
She almost was kind of anorexic.
It's weird.
It was not like I'm convinced.
Of all characters to do that, they not her.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was done like on average. I enjoyed it more than the remake, but not by much. I don't think the combat in that game is worth even talking about. It's really not good. I know you have hopes because of who worked on it. Some people do enjoy the combat. I think those people have horrible tastes and they hate themselves. Like if they played any action game ever that was even remotely good, they would not like the combat in that game.
I think it's because
whatsoever.
they wanted it to be more like action combat or turn-based combat wearing an action combat skin.
You need to commit one to the other. You cannot split it
Yeah.
in the middle and expect for it to go over well.
Yeah.
And you know what's really sad, and this is like one of the points I try to like, because I don't hate everything about it. Like, what's sad about it is that the animations are so fucking incredible in the combat,
Yeah.
but you never get a chance to appreciate any of that shit because you can't see it happening because the combat is like, you said you were having like visual overload from, what was it, like,
Bayonetta.
It's like that, but like way worse than Bayonetta is. And because it's not turn-based, they put all this effort into all these amazing animations that you never get to see fucking play out. Like, what's his name that does all the Monster Hunter and whatnot videos on Twitter? that he does like those crazy.
Oh, Sunil. Yeah.
And he did it for like Tifa shit, and and it's in slow motion, and you're seeing because you're not fighting the controls and the camera and the combat and everything else. You get to appreciate it, and it's in slow mo. Like the animation is a mind fuck. It's incredible, but you don't get to appreciate it. But if it was turn based, you could actually appreciate all this work the art team just like slaved over to do it, but instead it looks like Liberace vomited on your fucking screen, and it's just sequins and fucking flares and like everything. You can't see shit, and the camera's like hiding up as somebody's asshole, and you can't fucking attack them because you can't see them. And it's such a bad experience.
I think 16's combat, from what little we saw, looks promising though.
So does his, or was it 16? Well, no, are you talking about 16 or are you talking about the Origins game?
Yeah, the other one, the not 16
Because I don't think we've seen 16's combat. We just got cutscenes.
The Dark Souls
I mean, like,
Final Fantasy one.
We saw some stuff, but it was like a snippet. Like, it looked like Devil May Cry, 16's combat. We didn't see enough of it to really be like, oh, that's how it is. But it looked really action-y and over the top.
I don't remember I can't remember 16's. I can just remember Origins, and all I can remember about Origins is that he shops at Hot Topic.
Dude,
and
that looks weird to me. And Nomura is
chaos. Chaos.
How you gonna?
I'm here to fight chaos in my American Eagle. He dressed like me. This is his outfit. Right here.
Literally, like
he shows up with a sword floating on his back, and he just.
When you consider
I'm here to fight chaos.
When you consider the timeline that it's Final Fantasy 1, how does that make any fucking sense? Like, it's supposed to be medieval wherever the fuck, and this dude is wearing fucking it looked like he shopped at Noctis's fucking city. Doesn't make sense. Like,
he's rocking that t-shirt, bro.
Bro, it's not good.
Got the V-neck.
No.
He's got and you see his teammates who are obviously not shopping at H&M.
Yeah, dressed
and
to
it's
the
just
T.
like it's just so fucking weird. And there was no shadows. Like if you go back and watch the trailer, there's no shadows for anything. It's nothing is casting a shadow. No enemies. Zero shadows. The voice acting was like terrible. Like we were talking about the dubs. That was like we might as well have come back to dubs in like 1998. Like they're just so bad.
Dude, if Nomura wanted to like do this fashion shit, just put it in like 15's universe or something. Why go all the way back to Final Fantasy 1 and then say, oh hey, look, it's Hot Topic man, it's H&M man? Like that don't make any fucking sense to me.
It's just the amount of belt buckles that man manages to get into video games is shocking to me. Just shocking.
Yeah, just as many belts as possible. And I remember I was watching an because he did the character design for The World Ends With You, the new one.
Yeah.
And there's a character that people love. He has like a long jacket and stuff. And he was in an interview, and they were like, oh, so what did you like model this character after? Like, what outfits were you inspired by? He was like, I modeled him after what I wear. And I was like, oh, okay, well,
you see,
sure.
I respect that, bro. But it's like
he's got that fit.
You can't put that shit everywhere. You can't can't put it everywhere. Like 15 was good. Like 15's like, oh, imagine if like the world of Final Fantasy 1 time skipped and it kind of like meshed with our world. Fine, you already established that. But to go backwards and put that in there, it's like,
yeah.
Well, you know what? The more we talk about it, the more I realize that my opinion of Final Fantasy is similar to as is to Sega, where they do things right once in a while. Mostly the art department, the music department, but the rest of the departments need to get off the meth.
That's the same thing because they try to like reinvent the wheel so many times.
Except Final Fantasy has a fan base that will continue to love it. Like
no, it's the same. It's Nintendo. It doesn't matter. Like they can just whip me harder,
exactly.
please.
But they'll love it and hate it at the same time.
Sega's kind of like we're like, look, dude, we're done.
That's true. People will actually separate themselves from Sega. Like Sega doesn't enjoy that same level of respect from people. They don't get that. Like get the fuck out of this house. We don't want you here. What was I gonna say? Oh crap! It's there and it's gone. Never mind. Moving on. It's gone. That's the old boomer brain coming in,
30,
baby.
30 plus.
It's
It's
gone.
30 plus, Mike. You're there now. It just happened earlier.
Buckle
We're
up.
all there.
We're all there. It never
It's all
comes
fucking
back.
downhill. Yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone. But yeah, I think that will wrap it up. I think that was a
Amazing.
really good pod. I appreciate you coming on,
was
Adam. It was
fun.
a pleasure having you. I'm sure we'll have you on again. As
Anytime.
always, if there's anything you want to share, where to reach you, where to see you, any other content you got, the floor is yours, my man.
Well, I feel like I'm on Hot Ones. It's like that camera, that camera,
Yeah,
that camera.
one.
What do you got going
that
on?
one. You got that one. That one right there.
I mean, you've got my Twitter handle underneath this video thus far, so that's fine. Other than that, I mean, I take shitty pictures and put them on my Instagram, which is the same handle, but on Instagram. I stream, of course, on Twitch at /NovaWar. I have my game reviews. It's Critical Hit. It's critical with a Q in the middle because I'm an edgelord and somebody owned the URL with a C. But yeah, Critical Hit for my YouTube stuff for all my game reviews. And other than that, that's it. I'm just an old bald man in a basement.
And he also has a podcast.
Oh, that's true. I should
As
probably
well.
mention my own podcast, Technical
Yeah.
Alpha. That's true. Done that. There's that old boomer brain coming back for me again. Technical Alpha, yes, is my podcast that we've been doing for 4 years now, I guess, and
Nice.
and that's been a long runner there, and it's not hugely dissimilar to this, where we talk mostly about some video game news and movies and TV, and then at the end people ask us questions and we answer them to the best of our abilities because apparently we think people care.
Yeah. And thank you again. Thank you for.
Well, thank you for
joining us.
having me.
was a blast.
This was a
Yeah.
blast. This was super fun.
This was awesome. I'm glad we finally had a chance to do
Yes.
something, do content together. I don't know what the
Finally.
hell took so long.
We're just
this
we
is
just
awesome.
we just had to become old before it happened. That's all.
Yeah, that's what it took. Just getting old, man. Getting old, you start to do stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
thank you for joining, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Can I talk while the music's on?
Can let the intro go.
Oh. You mean the outro?
The outro.
Oh,
Fuck
shit.
it. Peace.
Damn.